just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. And don't forget the NordVPN Defense Player of the Week will be later in the show. But let's just get straight into it. Let's face a bit of music. Proudly brought to you by Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. I think it was like an 86 bucker the other week. So it's been it's been a big month for me. So get on the feed, get around me. Very close recently as well on the weekend. But let's face a bit of music.
Thank you. And if you got involved with Bet with Greats on the weekend, good hustle. I was in charge and had a $17 winner there.
Really?
Had $10. I had Sakura 2 or more yesterday.
Yeah, wow.
$10.
Okay.
And I had a little multi on the Warriors game, which Lecker was the last leg, and he scored with about 3 minutes on the clock. So
wow, Sakura scored 2 in the last 10 minutes, didn't he?
he did.
Jeez, okay.
So,
You look like you've had a good month, by the way.
yeah.
This is called being accountable. It's a man of my word, and I just got a bit of ticker about me, unlike you blokes. Fuck,
see someone in
he's not
Brisbane
even
does.
doing his 75.
I'm 15 days into 75
I'm from the Gold
hard.
Coast. I'm from the Gold Coast.
I am.
He's not doing it. He
You
says
had my
he's doing
overnight
it.
oats out there before.
No,
did,
I
I
haven't
saw
seen any
it.
evidence him doing it, to be honest. And like that's just like it's almost like a fun one. Like he's just getting ripped in that. I got to fucking wear this shit.
What's been the biggest challenge so far, Ham?
Probably drinking 4 litres of water a day and getting up twice a night to flush it out. To be honest.
Has your bladder adjusted at all?
Not really. Let me know in the comments, what day does the bladder adjust to 75 hard? Because
Slow
So
process.
for the listeners, if the Tigers didn't make the 8,
yep,
you would do 75 hard.
I'm 14 days in.
If the Broncos missed the 8, then I would wear this for 4 weeks on the show, and I would also go to a Bulldogs game in the kennel. Hectic Fred has already sorted that out for me.
Is that every show or just the Monday show?
No, it's just a Monday show.
Do you wear it the whole of Monday, or is it just for show? I don't remember that being specified.
Listen, it's just for the show, boys. You need to settle down. Don't start adding stuff in now, right?
Yeah.
It was just weird because you walked in here in it. That's all.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I got to say as well, like we only see you from the waist up. The Arsenal's chaps were a bit of a.
it was a lot.
Not
I
probably
regretted
not
asking
necessary.
for it once I
When
saw it.
you don't know, do you boys know about commitment? Do you know? I've committed
do.
to the act. I'm going all the way.
That's the last 14 days, mate. Yes, I do know about you. All right, Face to Music, round 24. I want to just reintroduce that. We haven't done this for a while on Face to Music, but I was thinking if anyone doesn't get a single tip right for the week, I think I might reintroduce 15 seconds worth of dancing at the end of the.
Oh, no.
What do we think? You happy with that?
No.
Well, the greatest 15 seconds of my life was when it happened to him one time. So
Yeah.
I'm all
Sweet.
for it.
So we'll do it today.
No.
Sounds good. All right.
No.
So
Remember that day?
1, 2, 3.
No.
I came in
4.
here thinking I'm going to have to do the chicken dance today, and then I got in here and you're like, oh, James Graham's going to join us today. And I had to eyeball one of the greatest front rowers to ever play the game whilst doing the chicken dance.
Yeah.
I've never been
You did it well. You did it well. It was
You did
really-
well.
it was
But
good
no,
stuff.
I don't agree to that
And as it
rule.
was for content, it was good stuff.
I've already
All
done
right. So 4 people say yes, 1 person says no. So we'll do it. All right. Face to Music. Panthers 6 defeated by Chooks 12. Tommy took the Chooks head to head, $2.10.
Sharp,
Well
handsome,
done.
humble.
Sharp stuff. Not as sharp as me, though. I took him 1 to 12 for $3.20. Great stuff. That's how you start around a Face to Music. Manly 0, unlucky Rude, defeated by Dolphins 22. Matty had the Finns covering the 7.5. Good stuff. I had the Dolphins winning 13 plus $2.30. Again, 2 from 2.
Did I have them 1 to 12?
Yeah, you did. Got it wrong, unfortunately.
Too cute.
So still on 0. Doggy 6.
Fucking hell, bro.
Defeated by the Bunnies 22. No points for anyone. A lot of love for the Dogs. Matty, you got the closest. You had Souths 1 to 12. Got a bit too cute. Didn't get it right. Then we're on to Super Saturday. Sharks 20, defeated by Raiders 24. I took the Sharks head-to-head for $3.54. Guru took him
Raiders
one.
won.
Raiders won.
Sorry, I took the Raiders head-to-head.
Okay.
$3.54. Guru took the Raiders 1 to 12 for $4.50. Welcome, Roo. Then we've got the Eels 32. They defeat the Cowboys 30. Everyone expected the Cows to win and win comfortably, except Tommy. He took the Eels head-to-head for $2.41.
Volkman bet.
Volkman bet. Well played. Broncos 6 smashed by the Warriors 40. Can't be a very hopeful Broncos plus 6.5. Unlucky, mate. No good.
Great content.
Hashtag premiership hangover. I've got
Look at
here.
how many people are laughing right now. Like, this is the funniest content ever. Fuck yeah, I love Face to Music. That's what's happening
It's
right
good
now.
stuff.
Shame you're wearing such a serious cowboy hat, though. Sort of contradicts.
Could be about to get better, maybe in 2 or 3 games' time. We'll see. Matty, Tommy, and myself, we had the Wires covering the 6.5. Roo had them 13 plus for $2.65. Good stuff. Then we're on to Sunday. Shout out to the Sunday ticket. Knights 36 defeat Titans 26. Roo, Tommy, and myself all had the Knights 1 to 12 for $3.15. Never in doubt. Thank you, Lockie Ilias, for that junk time try at the end. We'll take that.
Did I have the Knights 13 plus? What I
Yeah, the Titans 13 plus. So you're none from 7.
I
at this
was,
point.
I was thinking of the last 10 minutes. You know.
Yeah, maybe just think about your choreography. Matty, you had the Knights minus 11.5. Unfortunately, that Lockie Ellis try cost you no points for you. Tigers, 22, defeated by the Dragons, 24. Roo had the Dragons 1-12 for $3.20. Only one to get any points from that last game. So around 24 results. Myself, $14.09.
Jesus.
Guru, $13.50. Tommy, $9.56. Matty, $3.80. Denon, $0. Lol. So give us 15 seconds of your best.
Hang on a sec. I just get to make shit up and then I do it.
15 seconds of your best.
Ah, fuck it. All right. What song? Let me get the beat.
Yeah, nice. I'll play that.
I like that.
Good stuff. Life at the Outpost. They play that after your beloved North Queensland Cowboys games when they win. It's a great tune. Go and check it out. So that's the round 24 results. Overall,
Oh,
Guru, $189.89. Myself, $180.92. Matty, $158.08. Daylight, Denon, $115.18. And Timmy/Tommy, congrats, boys, raising the bat, $102.79.
That's emotional, and we're coming for you.
3 weekends, 3 rounds of footy to play. You could catch Kempy still.
Wait, if you were to give me like the average of Timmy or my average for the weeks in between, do you reckon I'd be winning?
No.
No?
No.
Interesting.
Could we almost have a look at giving Tommy, like, have you got every week recorded there?
Yeah, I do.
The results. Could we almost look at giving Tommy the absolute lowest in those 8 weeks that he missed out?
Can I be honest? I don't think he will need it to catch Kempy with 3 weeks
great
to play.
content, honestly.
So,
This is like fucking some of the best content I think I've ever produced.
I actually really enjoyed that dancing. That was good stuff.
That was good.
You impressed me there. There's a lot of Gold Coast.
There's a
Night
bit about
coming
me, mate. Yeah, I was fucking back in the day.
Oh, boy. Good stuff. So that's it. That's Face Music for round number 24. Still 3 to go. And then, of course, we've got the final series, got your eliminators, got your prelims, all your favourite kind of rounds of finals footy there for Face Music coming up.
It's a top 2 final series this year, isn't it?
The top, well, just whatever it was last year.
No.
Same series again.
Everyone gets a crack in the finals, boys. We remember that last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so just
That's the beauty of this
there's been a lot of receipts taken. I'll just put it that way, boys. A lot of receipts. Fucking big dogs coming from here.
Good stuff. Good time had by all.
Okay. Team of the week. Team of the week. Oh, jeez. Listen, I've got to a point where I'm just swinging for the fences and it's not working at all.
You're swinging all right.
It's had a lot of misses. Okay, team of the week brought to you by Lontel. Go to lontel.net.au/bloke. Trust me, give it a try, guys. You know the drill. They're the best internet. I know what you're thinking. It's going to take forever to sign up, all that stuff. I promise you, sign up using the link and the code. You get a week free, no contracts. Give them a call. You'd be shocked at how quickly they'll sort you out. Plus, it obviously supports the platform. Okay, at fullback, we got Ramsey. Unbelievable. There's some really good performances. And statistically, I'm sure you could look at players and, that was better, whatever. But in regards to the moment, how big that match was, how important he was, Ramsey's at 1. Brian Kelly. One call I did get slightly correct. When he did sign with the Eels, I was like, mate, he could turn out to be a bloody good signing, a bloody good winger. He's been outstanding. Toya in the centres. Sakuru at 4. Asako at 5. And now I know a lot of people would say Cobbo, but Cobbo unfortunately had quite a few errors. Asako was outstanding. DC at 6. Walker at 7. Barnett at 8. Talon De Silva at 9. Tarpin at 10, McEwen at 11, Fifita at 12, Murray at 13, Dufty at 14, Jeremy Marshall-King at 15, Fletcher Sharp at 16, and Couchman at 17. All right, it's time for the Code Sports Story of the Week. Do not forget, link in the description, $49 for the entire year, the discount. Make sure to use it. Huge stories coming out, a brand new series called Sacked with some of the biggest names in rugby league being spoken to about their careers and how they ended. And so that's coming very soon over the next couple of days, guys. So make sure to get your subscription so you got access to those stories. But Tyson, what's the story of the week this week, mate?
Yeah, look, got got to go to your Broncos. I know it doesn't look like your Broncos anymore, but got to go to your Broncos, Kempy. We all saw the game the other night. Obviously, probably one of the more disappointing ones, but the fallout to that has been quite astronomical. Madge comes out 3-minute press conference, and Madge is never short of a word. Not letting Paddy Carrigan answer soft questions. He just pretty much got to the point, called everything out. Now there's some pretty strong whispers that next year they're looking at Mitch Barnett coming into the club and Mitch Barnett taking a leadership role, pretty much being the captain. Strong whispers are going around that Mitch Barnett could be the captain next year of the Broncos, replacing Adam Reynolds, which would leave Paddy Carrigan, who everyone thought was the next guy in line, without that role. Which look into that what you will, but there's heaps of whispers going around the Broncos at the moment. We've got a full-scale review going on in the club where they will look at pretty much head to toe what's gone wrong this year and try to come up with some solutions. But a lot of player unrest as well, Kempy, which is quite concerning.
Yeah. What are those Tigers, though? There's some concerns there.
Not as embarrassing as the Broncos premiership hangover.
Yeah, like first of all, I'm clearly wearing this because we obviously made a bet at the start of the year. If the Broncos missed the 8, I would be punished with something. Obviously, this is the punishment. Now, in regards to the review, I guess first of all, let's talk about Madge's press conference. I liked it. I got to be honest. I liked it. I liked the fact that he talked about the pride in the jumper. I like the fact that he talked about whether you're making finals or not making finals, it should just be an honour to have that jersey on. And I think sometimes, and look, we're as players, you're all guilty of it, but sometimes you've got to remember that feeling of putting the jersey on before you made your debut. And try to keep that feeling and realise how much of a privilege it is to have that jersey. And at the moment, I don't think the Broncos are actually playing like that, which is really disappointing. But I like the press conference. I think that, if I'm being honest, I've been pretty critical of Madge in press conferences, and I understand why he has to do it. He's trying to make it so there's not many headlines around and protect the players and, all that kind of stuff. But at some point, you got guys like, look at Craig Bellamy. He doesn't miss after one loss, let alone, a season that's the worst you've seen after a premiership in a very long time. I liked it. I liked the press conference. And whether the players are on board or off board with Madge, you're still playing in the Broncos jersey. And the Broncos jersey will be around before and after everyone that is currently playing. So play for that. Even if you're, let's say it's not working with Madge in regards to playing group or whatever, or you disagree with certain things, you're still playing for a jersey that's bigger than both Madge and also the current playing group. And so that's the really disappointing thing at the moment, the Broncos. But thoughts on the press conference?
Yeah, I liked it. I think, obviously you've said it the last few weeks, you haven't been over the moon with how he sort of handled himself in press conferences, and I tend to agree. Like, it's crazy when you look at that Broncos team on paper. Obviously they won the comp last year, but like even more so to your point, mate, like growing up, and obviously you played for them, but growing up, like that Broncos jersey was just fear for everyone else in the competition. Mate, every single week. You
know how hard it used to be just to make the top 30?
Yeah, no doubt. And it was like
fucking unbelievably hard just to make the top 30.
And it would be, for guys that played for Queensland that didn't play for the Broncos, an incredible fucking achievement because the team was absolutely stacked week in, week out. It was a Kangaroos team in a different jersey, essentially. And the fall off we've seen in the last 20 years has been unbelievable. And won the comp in 2006, lost in 15, won it last year, obviously, but even last year, like I can't believe how quickly it's turned. I remember after the grand final last year when they announced the new emblem, and I just remember thinking, fuck, I wonder if this is Payne, Haas, Reece Walsh, all these guys going, okay, new emblem, this is our time. We've won the comp, we're coming into a new era, and it couldn't have gone worse.
Like essentially
before he got to put the emblem on, Payne Haas went, I'm gone.
Yep.
It has just been an absolute disaster.
Did they change it back, do you think? Now that the
change it back, oh man. That's going to cost a lot to get all the merchandise fixed.
But like when you have a look at like in the early 2000s when they went to, that new logo, then that logo became the Darren Lockyer, the Gordon Tallis. Like that's what it stood for, the Shane Webkes, the Petrus and Receivers. I just thought this Broncos side would have had like the chance to write their own page in history at one of the biggest and proudest clubs in the league. And I just can't believe how badly it's gone. Like you look at the teams at the bottom of the ladder, with all due respect, Hammy, like you look at the squads, you're like, okay, probably where you belong. You look at that Broncos team; it's unfucking believable.
Yeah, it is truly
it's a disaster.
The Mitch Barnett news, that's really concerning because you're almost saying we need to rebuild by doing that. Because look at the last time that happened. Adam Reynolds came to the club, was made captain. You know why he was made captain? Is because the staff didn't feel there was current people ready to lead as captains at the club. If there are whispers around Barnett coming in and being captain straight away, like you'd have to say there's probably a few players that, whether it's Madge that says you guys can go, or whether it's the players going, listen, I want to go somewhere else, you have to assume there's going to be a few players that want to leave. Is that correct? Not correct? Like,
yeah, for sure. There's been strong whispers for a long time around Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam isn't a November 1 guy, but there's a bit of a feeling there that it's either Madge is the one that stays or Ezra is the one that stays.
but that's not coming from, just to be clear, that's not Ezra saying it's me.
No.
me on him.
It's not coming directly from Ezra. There's been whispers around a few guys being linked to clubs keeping eye on them. Some that I can't disclose right now out of fairness to them. But a lot of the Broncos players are watching pretty heavily about how this contract negotiation goes with Madge for an extension, and obviously how this review goes at the end of the year, because since we broke a story last week entailing the Broncos' downfall from the start, it actually, they believe it started, a lot of people within the Broncos believe it started at their preseason camp in Toowoomba, which we've heard a lot of stories about, obviously throughout the year, and about how people have said how hard it was and this and that. But that's the one part of the Broncos preseason that they haven't been able to shake off, that has just kept rearing its head. And it's gotten to a point where really well-informed sources around the Broncos and at the Broncos have pinpointed that as the beginning of the end of this year, pretty much.
And essentially, and before this article came out, there's things you hear behind the scenes that obviously you don't want to put into the public sphere, because you don't want to put rumors out there and create negative around a club you love. But, I've heard this stuff for a very long time. That camp was not good for anyone. That there were a lot of people that didn't want to go 2 weeks. Like, they felt that it was too long, and it was a week that they probably were happy with. Also, I think the article said that they had an army camp at the end of the camp.
Yep.
And I think that, although I understand where Madge is coming from, like, I've got this kind of like, people think that you can just treat the Broncos like other clubs, but fortunately, how you look at it, the personality of Star there is a little bit different to other clubs. Like, you look at Penrith, for example, Cleary, very, very down to earth, very conservative. They're conservative kind of personalities. Dylan Edwards kind of thing. You look at the Broncos, there's kind of big personalities everywhere across the group. So I can understand why Madge sat there and gone, okay, I can't allow them to become complacent, so I'm going to have to go hard. But unfortunately, but look down at the Melbourne Storm. There's a reason why the Melbourne Storm say, you do the army camp once, and then that's it. After that, you've earned your stripes. You don't have to do it again. I just think this idea of like army camps and every single year, like let's look at like a guy like Payne Haas. He doesn't need to be doing any kind of camps to prove his toughness. Like, what are we talking about here? Paddy Carrigan's the same. He's won a Wally Lewis medal. And so I think the idea that you need to, I just think there's some compromises that need to be made. I understand what Madge was thinking, especially when you look at the personality type of the Broncos and the fact that they're like a rock star team up in Brisbane. But I do think there's got to be some kind of compromise between really, really intense. And people keep thinking there's like the players are off kind of hard training or whatever. It's not necessarily the training. It's just the constantly always thinking about rugby league, the intensity in which...
Yeah, intensity is the word I've heard. Intensity.
Yeah, from 7 a.m. in the morning till fucking 8 o'clock at night, it is just constant. And that's okay for, during the week or whatever, but to my understanding, it is like all the time. And like, I get the immediate pushback will be like, they're professional athletes, they get paid a lot of money. Bro, you can pay a young bloke $1 billion. He's still just a young bloke. He's still going to want to do young bloke things. He's still going to make silly decisions. He's still going to want to live his life. Like, I get that the boys are in privileged positions, but take yourself back to when you were 22, 23, 24 years old. I know you like to tell yourself that you would do certain things back then, but you're a young man. You do stupid shit when you're a young man, or you want to go out and do this and meet people, whatever it is. But it's concerning. Do you think that Paddy Carrigan, for example, if it is true, the Barnett whispers, what happens there?
Yeah, that's really concerning, especially Mitch Barnett. Like, Barnett's 32, 33.
Yeah, by the time you're
33 or arriving there next year. Like, if he's given the captaincy, that has to be a nod that Carrigan's not going to be there, right?
You'd have to.
It has to be. Like, what else could it be? Like, they made Carrigan the captain 7 years ago now.
Well, it was.
And now he's not ready for it 7 years later?
It was this year. You can go look at footage. He's in the middle of the Queensland Maroon squad, pointing at blokes going, do this, do that. Like, he's close to being the captain of Queensland, let alone the Broncos. So that's super concerning.
Well, if Munster didn't play Origin next year, it'd be between him and Harry Grant, wouldn't it?
You'd have to say.
Yeah.
You'd have to say.
I'd probably give the nod to Carrigan when I think of like a Queensland captain, like Patrick Carrigan screams.
And maybe you could argue he's coming off the bench, maybe, so that would change things. But yeah, I just it's surprising. But I guess if you're going to back Madge in, you've got to back him in, I guess. But the problem is you're losing. That's a lot. Like if it is true that there's going to be big talent that are like, okay, well if that's the case, And now I'm not saying Paddy Carrigan would say, if I'm not getting the captaincy, I'm out of here. But I think it's evidence of like, clearly he doesn't trust Paddy Carrigan enough at this stage. Again, if that is true that Barnett's going to be the captain. Yeah, I mean, the Ezra stuff has been hanging around for a while. There's been other players that have been kind of linked on the way out, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard to push back against.
I'm sort of at a point where I'm looking at this situation going, you won the comp. Fantastic. I think they need to call it a day with Madge. I really do.
Okay.
Because I'm sorry, like, I'm a fucking podcaster. I'm hearing all these things about Madge. Whether they're true or not, this is what I'm hearing coming from the playing group, apparently. So then other players must be hearing it. So then I'm interested to see how he's able to attract guys after that. Like, you look at the guys they have attracted this year, coming to the back ends of their career. Mitch Barnett, Dane Gagai, Jonah Pizzette's arriving, which we've already got our question marks over that. Sean Bloor, is he signed?
Yeah, Sean Bloor.
He was kind of let go by
Yeah,
Melbourne.
like, I don't know. Once again, I think if I'm, and I mean, like, it's not like it's a fucking secret society who's hearing these things. Everyone fucking is hearing this stuff. I just don't know how long, like, if you're going to rebuild under Madge and do this again, like, I just don't see how it's going to work. I think you're going to lose so many stars that could win you more comps in the future, in my opinion.
What about the argument, though, that, they've had 3 coaches now, 3 or 4 coaches, this playing group, and none of them seem to work out?
Yep.
Are you just continuing that cycle of the playing group saying, if it is the case that, they're saying that, you know what I mean? You're just continuing the cycle. At what point do you land on the perfect coach for this playing group?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know what that looks like, but I don't think it's going to be Madge. I think, like personally, I think the writing was on the wall the day Payne Haas decided, I'm out.
Yeah,
I think the writing was on the wall from that day.
Yeah, when you look back, at the time I was willing to kind of go, okay, he said he just wants a fresh start. He's been here for a long time. But now when you look at what's unfolded after it, it's like, well.
I think it's undeniable.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how. And, I think Mitch Barnett's a great signing. But, like, I don't think it's going to take a lot for him to fill that void left by Payne Haas. That's the scariest thing here.
The concern as well with the Payne Haas one is, like, if it was another player, you could kind of, like, convince yourself, okay, you just don't like the tough stuff. It's like,
Payne loves
is
the tough
anyone
stuff.
saying Payne
No
Haas
one's worked
doesn't like
harder than Payne Haas.
He loves the shit. He loves to work hard. So it's like, it's tough. And look, I'm of the mind, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, if you're hearing it, there's clearly concerns. I think that he'll be able to tweak things. I think the players need to compromise. I think Madge needs to compromise, and there needs to be a meeting of the middle. I think that he 90% of what Madge does is almost the best in the business. It's just that extra little 10% that you can look at last year when the players came in and said, mate, can you just pull back the intensity at all times? Look what they ended up doing. I still think he's earned the right for another season, a preseason, to do what he wants to do. And also for us to see, what do you like in the recruitment? You've got all the resources in the world. You're at a huge club. Who can you bring to this club? Because, in his defense, I guess, to a degree, it's a bit of a weird one because they won a premiership, but he didn't build this roster, So it's like, even though it's like, well, they won a comp, so it's like, it's a pretty fucking good roster to have under you. So, yeah, I think he deserves at least another preseason and a
It's hard too because, like, you sacked the last coach who was 10 minutes worse than Madge, realistically.
And
he was a Cleary miracle away from winning a comp as well.
But that's, what's the tough thing about that? And look, maybe it's not true, but the reports all were that they did a review and he wasn't training them hard enough.
They viewed Kevy as one of the boys. He was everyone's friend. I think Selwyn Cobbo was quoted saying Kevy's a really good bloke. And I think that's what they felt, that they were missing, that hard edge. But I mean, can be looking at it now, like taking what Roos said, taking what you've said. Is there a part of you that thinks it may be a little too far gone?
To be honest, it seems like it watching them. Like, I don't know. At the moment when you watch them play, they're clearly not playing for Madge. Like, unfortunately, you can't deny that. This team, even playing at like 80% of their potential, should win more. Like, should be sitting 10th or some shit like that. They've just completely switched off. Like, so it's going to be, unless there is a huge, come to Jesus kind of moment, and they all sit down and Madge, does what he says he's going to do. The players do what they're going to do. But at the moment, it doesn't look salvageable. It really doesn't.
Do you think a preseason
unless there's some changes?
Like, do you think a preseason will fix that though?
With Madge changing things, yeah, I think so. Like, imagine this. Like, if you said to Madge, do everything you do, bro, just fucking turn it down a couple of notches. You know, that'll at least get that roster's at least good enough to get you into a top 8 position, and then you can kind of build from there and get people in that you want and instill all the systems that you want from under 16s all the way through the first grade. Like, I do think there's a world where that could happen.
Is there not a concern though that like Madge has had a long time to adjust things? And I know we say that he did last year, and quite possibly he did, sure. But I also think that when you start to win games and you win premierships, it also covers up a lot of things as well. Like, it was the most ridiculous premiership we've ever seen.
Well, the bizarre thing is when you actually look at Madge's reign at the Broncos, he's had about 12 good games.
Yep.
I'll say 15 over a season of 40, 42 games or whatever. There's been about 12 good games. They won the comp.
Yeah. Well, mate, like this week last year, they were in 6th. You can't win a comp from inside the top 4. Like, they weren't even in the top 4 at this point.
It took Warriors just going.
Yeah, they went on this unbelievable purple run, which we can never take that away from them. It was incredible. But I'm sorry, but even that sentence you just said, if this roster plays at 80% of their best, they should be in 10th. They're the defending premiers.
Yeah.
Like, they should be a top 8 side. There is no question about it whatsoever. They got the best front row forward we've ever seen. They got one of the best fullbacks we've seen. They've got experienced halves. Like, what are they missing?
Yeah, I think the key ingredient, it looks like, whatever the coach's methods are, they're not driving with it. That's really seems that simple. Whether you and look, I know there's a lot of people that immediately go, they need to toughen up. Listen, there have been some tough players under Madge that have decided not to continue playing under him. You look at a guy like Sam Burgess, he moved on under Madge. Ben Teo, are we sitting here saying that Sam Burgess isn't tough?
And I think that's the other thing that I find it hard to look past is that this isn't a one-off situation. We've literally seen this play out before.
It just got such an opportunity because I as I said, I think there's 90% of stuff that is just like so good with Madge. So I'm a believer that, some tweaks in the off season, get the boys back together, maybe some really serious meetings about, feelings and, where everyone's head's at. Get back to preseason, turn it down a couple notches. Like this, the crazy thing about this side, they could come into round 1 a little bit underdone and still make the 8 by the end of the season. That's what's strange. Like, you could almost let them train themselves to a degree, and they would be playing better than what they're playing right now.
I wonder if Madge is just almost at the point where he's like a mercenary, and his business card is close to winning a comp.
I'll get you there.
Bring me in for 2 years.
Maybe. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's probably run its course a little bit, to be honest with you. But won the comp, done his job, to be honest. I think maybe what we've kind of learned or seen from a distance over the journey is short, sharp bursts of Madge when you're just about there is probably a bit of a key to success with him. If you've got all the pieces there and just need a bit of an attitude adjustment, he can get some great results. And he's done it with Origins, he's done it with internationals with the Kiwis as well, and the Broncos last year. But for sustained lengthy stints, I don't know. It just seems like the way that he goes about it can have a bit of an expiry date on it.
Well, the funny thing is, like, even in the New Zealand situation, the players were like, "No, we don't want to do that again," and they won 30-0.
Yeah, I don't know how all of this can be ignored. And if you hadn't won the comp last year, it changes things. But I think you won the premiership. It's not getting better than that. That's where I think you do just call it a day. And, going back to my point before, you look at like the Dragons in the late 2000s. Nathan Brown was the coach there. The Dragons assessed, okay, we're close, but we don't have that next tier. They bring Wayne Bennett in. He was only there for 3 seasons. They go minor premiership, win a comp. And then they cut ties and they move on. I just wonder if Madge can be that sort of guy heading into the future.
Maybe, as I said, I take on board everything you boys are saying, and you're probably right. I just believe that he can make some changes, just some tweaks. Anything else in regards to Broncos? They've got this huge review. The review is they're firm in Madge is not getting sacked. He's going to get re-signed.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, Madge will be safe from the Obviously, some things will come under the spotlight, but it's not like he's going to lose his job from it. I think the Broncos are very keen to keep him there. Again, we've spoken before about a potential extension. That could take a little bit longer now, just to let this review play its course. Like I've said before, the first 10 rounds are going to be very vital next year and are crucial for the Broncos and for Madge. But I dare say Madge will, I can almost guarantee Madge will start the year as the head coach of the Broncos next year. I think they've learnt a bit from what happened with Kevy and the fallout from that they won't do the same mistake twice.
Is there like the name Ezra Mann's come up, Pat Carrigan's come up, like the name Reece Walsh hasn't come up. Do we have any idea where he sits as far as Brisbane?
To be honest, like you just mentioned, I haven't heard anything about Reece in terms of being disgruntled, or he's probably one guy that has just kind of stayed steady. I mean, you guys may have heard differently, but I'm sure he's got his own opinions. He's a superstar of the game as well, and has his whole life kind of panned out for him up there. But I mean, if Reece wants to make some noise, when he's ready, it'll come out, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, so like crazy times. I hopefully they can make some tweaks and bounce back next year. They've definitely got the roster to do it. But yeah, we'll see. That's a Code Sports story of the week. Use the link in the description. Get your discount. Thanks, Tyson, for joining us, mate. Appreciate it.
Boys.
Hey, it's time for the Liquorland Legendary Moment. That's right, guys. We've got a brand new segment, the Liquorland Legendary Moment of the week. Serve up the ultimate at-home occasion with a side of legendary drinks from Liquorland, whether you're stocking up for the week ahead or cooking for a full house. Liquorland has the perfect drinks to match. Now, let's get into the legendary moment of the week. I tell you what, the legendary moment of the week is Pacifica Tonga. If you go back and watch that footage, it's one of the great plays from a front rower. And what I love about that play is this is a guy that we're talking about who was about to leave the club at the start of the season. About to leave the club. All of a sudden, they can't make the finals. He's already extended for a few years. He does not need to make this play. If you look closely, so he shoots out of the line to win the contact, wins the contact. He can't get up in marker because there's already two markers there. He begins trailing immediately as the ball is played and runs about 50 metres to make a cover tackle to win them the game. If he doesn't make the cover tackle, they don't win that match. And I think, unfortunately, it's a real mirror. If you look at the other side and you ask players around Fainu who made that break, why weren't you there? Look at what the effort that Pacifica Tonga made. It's incredible. Again, this young forward pack from the Dragons is nothing short of legendary. The things they're doing on this footy field, it is so, so good to watch. And that play from Pacifica Tonga, a guy that has all the natural gifts, would come through the grades as a big dog, he doesn't need to work on his mental toughness because he's just bigger and better than everyone else. No, he has the mental toughness. It's one of the, honestly, like there's been some big plays from like Payne Haas covering kicks and everything like that. It won't be remembered long term because it's in a game that didn't have much ramifications in regards to the ladder. But just if you're talking about individual play from a front rower, it genuinely doesn't get better than that.
Well, if in 3 weeks' time the Broncos have a spoon, it'll be a moment that matters. Obviously, it was a game that didn't matter, but a huge moment. And I think when it comes to this Dragons pack, we're always talking about how exciting and all these young guys. And I feel like all the Couchmans get the attention. Like I feel like I hear the sentence 3 times a week, Hamish Stewart will captain New South Wales one day. I feel like Loco, I don't know if it was because Flano wouldn't play him at the start or whatever, but I feel like to some extent, he's sort of the forgotten guy in this starting pack. I can't wait to see him next year. Like at the moment, he's having to be, one of the main guys in this pack. Once Keong gets there, I reckon that combination of those two is going to be fantastic. If you have a look, Dean Young, he's gone from playing essentially no minutes under Shane Flanagan to Dean Young's just kept on quietly just extending his minutes.
Yeah.
He went from about 30-minute guy to now he's up to about a 55-minute guy. You even have a look last week. We're all talking about Toby Couchman, how great he is. He didn't feature last week. Loco stepped up into that role. I think he played close to 60 minutes last week. He's just been adding minutes each week, and the effort remains there.
Incredible.
The entire time.
And also, like, these guys aren't playing for anything. They're out. They're out of the 8. And so, like, we make excuses for these other teams, and yes, I'll talk about the Broncos, who are, they're out of the 8. That's why they're playing like that. Well, take a look at the bloody Dragons. Like, these guys, a lot of these Dragons players, I mean, now they're getting a name for themselves, could walk down the street and you wouldn't even know who they were because they're so new. They don't have big profiles compared to other players who have huge profiles on massive contracts. It's honestly what they're building there. If this is what they play like at this young age with nothing on the line, what are they playing like when the 8's on the line or the top 4's on the line? I'll go to you, Tommy Bob.
Yeah, well, you mentioned before Kempy Payne Haas. Like, he was coming up with effort plays like that in 2020 when they were struggling and when his team was always on the back foot. He'd still come up with effort plays like that in games, similar to what you're saying about Pacifica Tonga on the weekend. Like, when it didn't matter and you're not playing for a semi-final or whatever, coming up with an effort play like that, it speaks to, like, effort areas aren't dictated by the big moments. You know what I mean? If you're doing it there, you're definitely going to do it in the big moments. And I think that's what's really exciting. Like I sort of said last week when the Dragons beat the Sharks, it's probably their last chance to get a genuine scalp. Like when they beat the Sharks, I know the Sharks lost again on the weekend, but they were one of the form teams of the competition at that point in time, which means that going into this off season with all the great recruits, it's no longer a hypothetical of like, oh, once we get these guys, it's like with the squad we've got now, we can mix it with the best of the best, and you're adding in these new guys, and to see what they've been able to do with, you know, and to your point, Rue, like he's a guy who's really come on this year. There was already a lot of raps on the Cowshan brothers, Egan, Hamish Stewart. Like it's just so exciting.
They could end up with 2 players in the Australian squad, maybe 3 if you're getting crazy.
Yeah. Well, they could end up with 2 from the same family dinner table, realistically.
But that's what's insane. Like they could have 3 forwards. They'll probably end up with at least one. One of those boys is going to be in the Australian squad. Be crazy not to. 2. Yeah. That's like what other forward pack is releasing 2 players to the Australian? I'll tell you what, for other forward pack, the best forward pack in like the winners, the fucking premiers, in regards to the Panthers. But mate, thoughts on that play?
Yeah.
Liquorland's legendary moment.
No, well deserved. And I'm with Rue. I think he's really been someone that slipped under the radar and gets left out of the discussion of how impressive they've been this year and how well he's come along, Loco, Junior Pacific Tonga. But important play, tight game. And I think the good thing for the Dragons, you know, Dragons fans is like these guys, even without all the big recruits that are coming next year, are starting to get the habit of winning. Like back into the year, you know, they won their last 2 games. They took a big scalp in a local derby. That's a really big game, like almost like probably like a bit of a finals like atmosphere or as close as they'll get to for the Dragons this year. So for them to start finding some ways to eke out some wins before these guys get there, it actually sets them up very well for next year. I think they'll really improve.
Loco, born in New Zealand, moved over to Australia, played his junior footy here, and then a family move to Melbourne spurred a rugby union switch when he was younger. So he was in the Storm's backyard for a period of time there as well. But I would assume with his junior footy being played in Australia, he's played under 19s Origin, but was also born in New Zealand. It'll be an interesting one as far as who ends up playing for.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the legendary Liquorland legendary moment. Now guys, a legendary country deserves a legendary bottle shop. From city streets to coastal towns, Liquorland are here for every kind of Aussie moment, from the big birthdays to the unexpected Friday knockoffs and everything in between. As the weather warms up and we start getting into finals footy, Liquorland has you covered. Whatever the reason, whatever the occasion, Liquorland will bring the drinks. Choose to drink wise. Okay, let's get into the round 22 review. The Roosters defeat the Panthers 12-6, 12-6. And I tell you what an absolute pleasure this game was. Sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of the time, you get so used to these freaking blowout scores of like 36-30 and 36-26, you forget what a good old-fashioned game of rugby league is. And ironically, like there were actually a lot of 6-agains or whatever, but it was just 2 teams playing high-quality footy. This was a great game of rugby league. And I got to be honest, I know Panthers fans are going to be disappointed. I think both teams walk away from this pretty happy. If you're the Panthers, you're sitting there going, okay, we didn't play that great, but it took essentially the best Roosters defense we've seen all year to beat us 12-6. There's a lot of improvement. So you can walk away from the Panthers. If you're the Roosters, I mean, if you aren't convinced that they're a premiership threat now, then I don't know what else to give you. Like this is the last month or last 2 months really, but this was the final nail in the coffin because they were nothing short of incredible. And I'm going to be honest, I actually reckon they left some points on the field, which is really, really exciting. I think that they haven't been given enough credit for their defense this year. They've already been third over the whole year. They're third. If you look at the last 10 games, I think they're first. This was an amazing performance from the Roosters, and we'll get into the details, but there's been a lot of critique, especially coming from myself in regards to the DCE signing. Was it the right call? Was it not the right call? I think if you're the Roosters, you're sitting back with a beer going, told you so, because it was absolutely the right call.
100%. Longer this season goes, the better that halves combination gets. And as you said, mate, it was really good to see a September game of football on Thursday night. And when we had a September game of football, it was the most experienced guy on the field that stood and delivered. DCE, he was outstanding. I agree, though. I think Sowie's been talking about it for a few weeks on our podcast, just about how the Roosters are getting disrespected because of their defense. We're also focused on their attack. The reality is it's their defense that's going to set them apart. I think you really saw that in this game. I tend to agree with you. I'm Panthers fans. I wouldn't be too disappointed about this game. I guess it's just the 2 losses in a row to the other top 3 sides.
I will say, so Random Stats Guy put up the last 10 games.
Yep.
They actually wouldn't be in the 8, the Panthers, if you had just the snapshot
of the last 10 weeks.
Last 10 weeks.
Wow.
So, that is a little bit concerning when you look at it. But I am still I'm still pretty high on that. You got to remember, this is the 6th year that they've been up as a big dog. Like, look, I'm not saying they went out there and like this is boring, but it's pretty hard to get up when you've won 4 premierships and you've been in 6 grand finals or whatever it is.
Yeah, fair. And I think as well, Panthers fans would also have a quiet confidence that Ivan will get the best out of them when it matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
His record suggests that pretty heavily. So, yeah, I think, I don't walk away from this end of the world stuff with the Penrith Panthers, but if I am a Roosters fan, I'd be over the moon with what I saw. And on top of that, without James Tedesco.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yep, absolutely. Angus Crichton also, not in the side. I'm just trying to find this in regards to this stat from Random Stats Guy. But Tommy Bomb, thoughts, mate?
Yeah, well, as a Roosters fan, I was stoked. Like seeing the boys dig in. Like I thought our goal line D was the best it's looked potentially since we won a comp. So that was really reassuring. And I just think like from the Panthers' point of view, it's interesting because I think you guys are spot on in terms of performance-wise. Like there's a lot to take out of it, but I would be a little bit nervous about like how do you approach this whole Lindsay Smith at 13 as AEO thing. Like I know they're hopeful as AEO will get back for the back end, but I don't know, like you could really tell that they missed him and not to take anything away from the Chooks, like you guys just said, missing Gus, more importantly, missing Teddy, but yeah, I do think they can win the comp if Yo doesn't get back. But in terms of like your approach over the next few weeks and how you sort of train and prep your attack, like I don't know, are your chips in on Lindsay? You know what I mean? Because it does change things.
First round, first game. I think it's
100%,
harsh to judge after a game against the Roosters. They only lost 12-6. They did look clunky. I get it.
Well, Lindsay was great. Like he set up their only try with the offload, and I thought
his second stint was better than his first.
Yeah, I actually thought when Lindsay was on the field, I thought they looked okay. It was when he wasn't on the field that I thought it looked really clunky. All the
And
time.
usually I'm assuming they probably time it so then Isaiah is always on the field actually, so you don't have
at
to
least
worry
one
about
of them's always on the field, and sometimes you're getting both.
Mm.
But I guess what I'm saying is though, like if you're not sure about Yo, like getting back or not, like yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I was just thinking to myself, fucking dancing before, and like someone's going to clip that up. And it's just,
without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
Great content. You are in the content game.
Hopefully, Matty will clip it up, to be honest.
You were moving well, but to be fair,
You moved well, yeah.
you did.
well, I haven't stretched for fucking years as well. Imagine if I stretched.
I thought you'd be a bit stiffer than what you gave us.
No, the hips.
To your credit.
The hips
Well
have-
oiled.
Yeah,
The hips have never lied a day in their
Shakira
life.
yeah,
Never lied a day. No, there's no dance floor that's seen a lie from these hips. I'll tell you that much for free.
yeah. Just all truth under that hat.
Where'd you used to go to back in the day on the Gold Coast?
Where didn't he go?
Well,
You a shooters guy?
nah,
or,
it was straight out of school. I was up in Brisbane training all the time, so I'd be traveling up to Brisbane. So I would go out up in Brisbane
Back
quite
when
a
you
lot.
could live in the Gold Coast and
But
travel
I did go back to the Gold Coast once. Got in a punch on, so that wasn't great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, guy called me a slur, so we got in a fight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He said you can't dance for shit.
No, it wasn't dancing, just on the street. And he called me like a slur from far away, and I walked up to him. I was like, bro, what's doing? Then
battle.
his mates, like, it's like a setup. His mates like came up from the bar, like 10 of them. This dude dodge shot me, and then we got in this massive fight with me and my
Dance
friends.
off?
That wasn't a dance off, it was a punch on.
Daddy's home too.
There's
sort
this
of
like
stuff.
massive scrap across like the middle of the road at like, I don't know, 11 or 12 o'clock at night.
Wow.
What
Well, lucky
venue
for
was
him it
that?
wasn't a dance off.
Fucking oath, lucky. Absolutely, would have taken his girl. Like his missus wasn't watching.
I remember going to
So
schoolies.
I hope your missus wasn't watching me dance before, boys. Fucking hell.
I remember going to schoolies on the Gold Coast this was
Bussy.
in 2010. And I remember where we stayed was across the road from Shooters. Was that what it was called?
Yeah, shooters, yeah.
And I remember Shooters, the guy, us fucking idiot 10, 18-year-olds, guy got us out the front one day and he's like, the premium packages for you, boys.
Oh, no, the guy on the side flicking the cards. Yeah,
got
yeah,
the
yeah.
T-shirt, got the
Yeah.
2 free drinks, down about
God.
$1,000, going sitting in Shooters going, what the fuck are we doing?
in between us sort of
Grim.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, I was a little bit of a bourbon bar operator back in the day. That was R&B and hip hop.
Was there a Melba's? Was that?
Melba's was for older people back in the day. Trying to think. But in regards to Brisbane, it was obviously Normby. That was on Sunday sesh because you had speed on Monday. So you'd fucking if we played Friday, which we did a lot because we're the best team in the comp, and and we would go out Saturday, and then Sunday you'd have a little sneaky peek, and then you just go to speed, and speed was easy. GPO, listen, if you want to go hard, Birdie Num Nums, that's a 3 a.m. visit.
Hey, would I be correct in assuming most of the time in Brisbane, if you're playing for the Broncos, it's sort of your straight through sort of operation?
Yeah, back in those days.
Back in those days?
Like you were loved by everyone.
Did you ever have
I'll
to
never
like,
forget this time. This dude, one of my ex-girlfriends at the time, we were out, and this dude came up to her pretending to be me, and saying like, my name's Danny Kev, I play on the wing for the Broncos, and I was standing like 10 meters away. Came back. I had to respect the arsehole, to be honest. I had to respect it. If you could pick a guy though, like fucking pick a better guy than me. Jesus Christ.
say you're Lockie or something?
Yeah, say you're Lockie or Hodgie or something. I don't know. Fucking rookie winger.
I'm Shane Webke. But did you ever have to sort of play the card yourself, like where the manager didn't realise?
No, I never wanted to play the card myself. The only time it ever really helped me was I got in a fight at the Normby, and the guy Darren, who owned the Normby, so this dude said some stuff about some women or whatever, and like that I was with, and we got in a fight, and then I got a call from the owner the next day, and he's like, "Hey mate, I just want you to come in." I'm going, "Oh fuck," because Wayne has eyes and ears everywhere. If you think you can go out in Brisbane back in the day and Wayne didn't find out about it, you're kidding yourself. And so I'm going, "Fucking hell, I'm getting done here. Like, this is going to be a big problem." He walked in, sat me down. He's like into his office, and he got out the security tapes and he played it for me. And then I was like, he's like, "What do you think of this?" And I was like, "Oh man, like a few drinks." He said some stuff about the girls I was with or whatever, and then he just goes, boop, deletes it. I was like, "Bro, you're a fucking legend, absolute legend." I think he actually is writing a book about the Normby, the former. I don't know if he still owns it or whatever.
Gonna release all the old tapes.
You don't release Denon tapes. Don't release the Kemp tapes. Fucking hell, the big
Footloose
tapes.
files.
Yeah, so good times. Good times. Anyway.
I think the other compounding thing about Isaiah Yeo being out is that because they've now got Cogger playing in the halves. Remember at the start of the season when Yeo would come off the field, Cogger would jump into that 13 role? Because they're also missing that at the moment. I think that compounds this entire situation.
Yeah. Look, I think because we're such used to such excellence from the Panthers, when you see them look clunky, it's like, wow, like that shouldn't happen. But it is one game. Like it's one game. They're going to get better at it. Lindsay Smith does, out of all the players in the NRL, he does mirror Isaiah Yeo the most, I think. I do think like they're in this weird spot where if they do tweak their game, but then Isaiah Yeo comes back, are they going to be rusty with Isaiah Yeo on the side? If you know what I'm saying? If they do make some changes, say, okay, we're going to be a bit less heavy. It's going to be one pass straight out to Cleary rather than to Lindsay into Cleary's hands. That could be a bit of a problem where they kind of have to like switching up kind of styles. If I'm them, I just try to stay in the top four, which they'll definitely stay in the top four. I'd be shocked if they don't. And I would just be waiting for Isaiah Yeo to come back, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think you can back like the years that they've built that system around where like, Yeo chips in on trying to get the best out of Lindsay at 13. And then if he does come back, you just back the reps that you've built over the last half a decade.
I did think it was super interesting seeing Blaze Talangi brought on when they were looking for points.
Yep.
It shows you what Ivan Cleary thinks of Blaze, where, that had 40 plus tackles in the Roosters red zone, and there was nothing doing. Couldn't score. 0 points, and he throws Blaze on. And I know there's been a lot of negative chat from some Panthers fans with Blaze, but like, I get it. He threw the intercept. I get all that. But it's like, you guys couldn't score with him on the field. Don't blame him for the loss. Like, he was brought on because you couldn't score. And so he was brought on to take some risks. Now, I'm not saying that excuses the intercept, but they actually did look a lot more lively when Blaze did come on the field. But it's a tough one now because he did come on and struggle. Do they carry him on the bench anymore kind of thing? Because he kind of had an opportunity to be that bench guy that comes on and impacts. But as I said, it shows you what Ivan thinks of Blaze, that he still probably is one of their sparkers in attack.
Yeah, I also said to you on Friday, Campy, I reckon like not all intercepts are equal. And I thought that was more of a great defensive play from Mark as opposed to a really dumb pass from Blaze. And like, it's a bit unfair on him to, if you're told to go on the field with the instruction of be X factor, create, explode.
We can't score, take some risks. That's pretty much what you're told.
And like one of the risks doesn't pay off. And again, it wasn't like, oh, that's so stupid. It was just a good defensive play. Like pretty harsh to be too hard on him, I think. But, in terms of the game itself, as a Roosters fan, like you look at our tries we scored, one little bit of a slow reaction from Papali'i, DCE makes him pay, then he runs it on the last, just gets on the outside of Cogger and scores. Like not massive windows of opportunity and chances there. And I know you had the Toyo no try, which was ridiculous, but it's reassuring as a Roosters fan to be like, well, we didn't get given a heap of chances and we took them against the best team of the last half a decade. Like, we definitely haven't had a win against them like that before. Like even when we upset them last year, like they were missing
was that
a
the
few
start of the
guys
year
at
as
the
well
start of
last
the
year? Yeah, so they
and-
weren't playing
battling.
well.
Yeah.
Mate, what do you think of the game?
Yeah, good. It was a good sort of arm wrestle, but the Roosters definitely for me looked like the team more in control for longer of the game. So the result was a fair one. I'm with you. I think they probably had a few more points in them, and it's a good sign for them with no Tedesco as well, still to come back in. Like if they play again later in the year, they haven't shown them their full hand. You know, they've got a few more things up their sleeve. Crichton as well. But yeah, it was a kind of a clutch win, a nice message that they kind of send the rest of the comp. They've leapfrogged them into first as well. And yeah, DCE with the 2 tries, a pretty decent hit out from him before he announced his news the next morning. But yeah, I think they're tracking well. And if I'm a Roosters fan, I'm feeling pretty confident they can give it a legitimate shake, to win the comp this year.
So you look at the last 10 rounds. This is a random stats guy. The Panthers would actually be sitting on, what was that, 12th? Sorry, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Yeah, 12th. So that is a little bit like, whoa, shit. Like you don't usually see that.
Jarring.
Roosters would be first. Dolphins would be second. Warriors third. Sharks fourth. Knights fifth. Rabbitohs sixth. Mate, the Rabbitohs, we'll get to them. They are so strange to me because like watching them play, they should be nowhere near the 8. But they've been gutsy and somehow managed. It's incredible. Doggies would be in the 8 and Raiders would actually be 8th. Storm, crazy. Last 10 games, that'd actually be 9th. That's incredible when you consider what they've gone through. Tigers, unfortunately, would be last.
The Broncos.
Broncos second last.
Yeah.
Okay, boys, question around the Roosters. When Crichton comes back, what do you do? Because Fifita been pretty freaking good on that edge.
Playing good footy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to go with Angus. When's he meant to be back? Are we like
Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's maybe week 1 of the finals, maybe.
one.
Or a week before, maybe.
Oh, look.
I think it depends on like who you're playing. Like I'd even look at, like, I know we've spoken about how good Siwa's been as well. Like I think both back rows have really been good. I actually personally would argue Fifita's had a better few weeks than Siwa. Like I know Siwa's been doing it for longer and he's still been great. But like, do you look at let's say we come up against Penrith again later in the year, which I think is inevitable. And regardless of who they have on that left edge, like even if they stick with Cogger, like he missed 8 tackles on Thursday night. Do you use Gus on that side and just spot him up? Like try and get him one-on-one as much as possible. Like I think it just depends on what you're being presented to.
Look, we know Angus can come off the bench and be good because he's done it before plenty of times. Man, I'm liking Fifita. You're on a massive win streak. You're smashing teams. Why make any changes? And I know it's crazy because Angus Crichton is one of the best back rows in the comp, but I don't think I'd be upsetting the apple cart. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if I'd want to do that.
Would you be bringing on Gus? Like he's obviously done it in Origin before, and I think he has done it for the Chooks too. Would you be bringing him on through the middle, or would you say give Siwa a break?
Bit of I just wait and see, to be honest.
Yep.
Like because he can play anywhere. I don't know. Of course, like Angus Crichton, he's achieved more. He's even a better player. But like right now, the guys you've got on the field for a long period of time have been the best in the competition. They're the best team in the comp right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their rotation at the moment, like Radley played 55. Both our edge back rowers on Thursday night played the full 80. So I think that's where it's a bit difficult. I think the best possibility would be, let's say Gus has to return to play anyway, and it's been quite a long layoff with that injury. Maybe you do just have him on the bench, and like I said, like if you...
Well, the thing as well with Gus is like, you already know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So why not keep testing if Fifita can be the guy? Because let's say you drop Fifita when he comes back, like you'll always be asking, okay, what did we look like? What could have we looked like with Fifita still on the field?
And it's annoyed us for years, this constant changing of their back rowers, all this sort of stuff. Maybe it is a case of you found a winning formula. Why need to change it? He's been tested against the Penrith Panthers. Held up his gloves, was good.
Is that standing in defence?
Yeah, and I like that he is playing both of them for 80 minutes.
Yeah,
I
me
like
too.
that.
But I think having Gus there as well on the bench where, like I said, whether it was a Cogger or someone else or one of these other top sides, if you did just want to spot someone up for 20, 25 minutes at some point at the back end of a half, there's probably not a lot of guys that are better at that than Gus Crichton. So
could you go, Angus Crichton is, as you just suggested, like at the back end of the half, but he kind of almost is the perfect forward where you could say, I'm looking at this defensive line that we're attacking and there's a certain player that is struggling at the moment, I'm sending Gus at him.
yes, that's how I'd use him. Yeah.
And use him like that, which would be a scary prospect. Like, for example, let's say you're playing the Storm and I know Storm's out, but let's say they're going well, and Harry Grant is fucking tearing you apart, and Angus Crichton's sitting on your bench, you're saying, Angus, every run you get, I want you to run straight at Harry Grant. You know, like, is that how you use him, potentially?
Yeah,
It's a fucking incredible problem to have.
Round 26, apparently he's potentially back, which would be their game against the Dolphins.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
You go Dolphins, Rabbitohs, and then into finals.
You want to give him match fitness as well heading into. Oh, that's a tough call, bro.
Good games though, because they basically are finals, so you're going to get thrown in, like, you know, finals quality opponents. So
Yeah, it's reassuring too. Like, they've obviously backed Fifita in to be the guy long term, and Seawar, they've been really patient with him. Like, he's really come on this year. So I think it's really reassuring as a Roosters fan to see that, like, what they've sort of planned for has come to fruition, and like, provided nothing goes drastically wrong, we're probably going to win a minor premiership. So it's exciting.
Oh, fuck. Holy shit. That's
that
fake
up.
wood, bro. It's not real.
That's wood.
It actually is real wood. It's real wood. Wow. Holy shit. Clip that up.
Clip it up.
Wow. Arrogant Roosters fan. We're
Tigers
probably
beat us.
going to win a fucking... Wow.
Your Cowboys might make the
Clip
eight,
it up and take out him saying minor premiership. No, the minor bit, just keeping the premiership.
Fake news.
I want to talk about, it's just like, we'll talk about the call, but Billy Smith's try saver on Brian To'o, like, unbelievable stuff, because he was, I'm pretty sure he was where the bomb initially started. So the ball goes up, it gets knocked back or whatever, it goes through 15 hands, comes all the way back to To'o, and for Billy Smith to stay on song like that and stay ready to make the try saving tackle, it ended up being literally the difference.
It's incredible. Like, we're looking at the Roosters, like I assume for most people, and I don't know, they might be premiership favourites by this point. What are they, about even money with Penrith?
yeah, they are 350 Penrith, 360 the Roosters.
Yeah, right.
Outsiders, underdogs, we love that shit.
It's crazy. Like, we've been talking for years about this side and guys, what's their best position, who should be where. Like, I cannot believe I walked away from that game on Thursday night. I literally texted Matty and I was like, fuck, this has got a 2018 feel all of a sudden. Feels like it's just maybe come together for this side. That, you know, we've spoken for the last 2 years about who's going to be the edge back rowers. Angus is on the left, he's fine, but who's going to be the right back rower?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're having a conversation about who's the left back rower, and the names Victor Radley and Nat Butcher haven't even been mentioned.
Yeah.
It is crazy. You've then got Hugo Savala now playing centre. We're wrapping Billy Smith. He's playing on the wing as it stands right now. Like, that's the other thing. Toops has got to come back into this side at some point as well.
Yeah.
A top 3 try scorer of all time, an aerial target. Like, they find themselves in a fantastic spot, and all the things they're doing really well. Even like DCE, we were saying for years, who the hell are we going to partner with Sam Walker? Who's going to make it work? DCE's starting to make it work all of a sudden.
Yeah. You got to give the Roosters credit. You really do. It's been half a decade where they haven't thrown a punch really, but they've stick to the systems. They've stayed patient. They haven't panicked. I think I give the Roosters a lot of credit where, you know, most clubs probably would have panicked, I reckon, in this time.
Yep.
They haven't. They've been really patient and said, no, we trust our juniors. We trust the group. There hasn't been mass changes in regards to their playing group either. We trust the group coming through as well. And they've been patient. Like Wong, for example, I reckon a lot of clubs probably would have looked at Wong and said, oh, you know what, it's probably not going to work. You know, a lot of talent. He had a lot of expectation. But Roosters just patient. And then you got the development that they did last year with a lot of those younger guys like Fifita coming through. And, yeah, they deserve all the credit in the world. But, yeah, that play from Billy Smith, incredible try saver. I got to say, like, look, I know technically, I guess, it was the right call by saying, like, we're going to go back to the fact that they didn't know advantage was being played. But surely some common sense has to prevail there. Like, this idea that if they had known advantage was being played, that they would have taken the tackle, I guess. Is that the argument? It's like so they get the best of both worlds because they didn't know advantage was there. If they score, it's considered a try, but if they don't, they get the ball back. I thought that was a bit of a tough call.
Lacks common sense.
It just doesn't make. Yeah.
Do you not know it's advantage by the fact that you're playing on the? You know what I mean? Like, are you saying that there's a chance that they thought, oh, we've battered this back?
Well, like, for example, it's 6 again.
Yeah.
Take the tackle. We got 6 tackles. I'm assuming that that's what the rule is there for, of going like you would have played differently if you knew you had 6 tackles in your bank.
Okay. So, and that's what I'm saying though. From every other Panther that wasn't involved in the contest, from their point of view, it might have been our guy has, like, Alamotti has batted this back and therefore it's play on. And it's still last.
No. Yeah. So they're assuming that it's last.
It's still last. Yeah,
so you're playing with way more risk.
Yeah.
But I just think, like, it went so far that they nearly scored off it. Like, it's almost like how can you call it all the way back when it's been 30 seconds or something like that? But anyway, it is what it is. Let's talk about the Disruptor boys. Spoke about it a bit on my show later in the week, but oh God, what are we doing? Why do we do this to ourselves?
Why did it go away, 6 weeks into the season, and now it's back a month out from finals? What's the go? Are we doing it or not? I just don't understand why. Yeah, it's popped up again now in a big game, 1v2, when it's basically just disappeared for
What's
the bulk of the
crazy,
season.
so in the Broncos game, and look, Broncos got pumped, so it didn't change anything. But there was a clear disruptor from Khan Pereira that they just let go. So it's like, so in some games we're letting it go and some games we're not. And you know what's crazy is Matty's actually read out the description of the disruptor. It technically wasn't even a disruptor anyway. Because it doesn't actually say in the thingos, you can't go up with one arm. It says fling one arm up, fling an arm up. Like, but it says like, it doesn't like it. You get the actual wording up because it's like actually doesn't describe what Nwanga Tuwase did.
Whilst you're getting that up, like just it's the thing that annoys me is that we're not calling it for X amount of months and then we just pull it out a week before finals. And mate, like after every try is scored, we usually have a look at it upstairs. They watch it, and I watch every single one of these tries, and I'm like, okay, again, the foot of the guy playing the ball did not touch the ball. Are we going to start calling these again at some point? Is this random? Like every time I see that, every time I go, I hold my breath. I go, is this the one that they bring it back?
Yep. It's so frustrating, bro.
Because it's the exact same logic. Like you pick and choose when you officiate things and when you don't.
Well, you look at the Mitch Moses one later in the game. We'll get to it later in the week, but you're picking and choosing. Sometimes we let contact to the head go. We call it incidental. Sometimes we don't. So you sent that through, Matty?
To focus on the guy jumping for the ball as the attacker, to me, is absurd, though. Like, they come back for that penalty. Roosters still get the ball because Mark gets escorted off the ball. The whole idea of making it one hand or two hands, shouldn't you just focus on, if you see a guy gets up for it, pulls out of the contest late, or doesn't even play at the ball like we have for 100 years, why change now? Like,
it's bizarre. So this is the indicators. A player arriving early, players not having their eyes on the ball but purely on the man, and player who jumps through a contest and throw an arm out. Did Mark Nwanga Tuwase, did he look like he was jumping through a contest and throwing his arm out, or did he look like he was trying to tap a ball back?
Yeah, tap a ball back.
And he was escorted off the ball.
So what's crazy is it wasn't even a disruptor.
The thing for me is as well that like this whole rule, I don't feel like it was a big enough problem to start
No
with.
way.
No.
Like, no one was sitting there going, oh, man, I hate how they keep balking my catcher. People were sitting there going, still make the catch, bro. It's your job.
It's your job, yeah.
Like, we balk players everywhere across the field. Like, dummies are a balk, steps are a balk. Like,
You have 3 decoys on every single play that are balks. Like it's,
what the fuck are we talking about here?
The NRL's also written that in a way where it's like a ladder process where it's like, okay, if you arrive early, which like you're never going to penalise the player for being fast, but if they get there early while the ball's still in the air, where are their eyes looking? Where do their hands go? Like that's a great way to have it like listed out. Marks fits 0 of those 3 points.
Bizarre. So bizarre. So, yeah, apparently Disruptor's back, kind of, I guess. And who else
It's not
stood
really
out?
disruptor. So.
Who else stood out for you guys in regards to the Roosters?
Yeah, obviously the halves hard to go past. I think Rob Toyer made over the last month or so in particular. I think the greatest credit to Rob Toyer is Joey Manu left the Roosters, and I don't remember at any point thinking, geez, they miss Manu.
Yeah, that's
Because
so
Toyer
true.
has just stepped in and done a fantastic job.
We spoke about it a few weeks ago. Who's the Dally M Centre of the Year? Herbie's definitely got one locked down. I said Sasungi, but I understand he hasn't played much footy. I think Rob Toyer's making a bit of a late push for it
I think he is for sure.
because he has been unbelievable.
He doesn't play bad games, Rob Toyer.
Mate,
Like,
on the weekend, he was phenomenal in defence and attack. Like, truly phenomenal.
and then you remind yourself again just how old he is. And like quite often you see guys, and we always talk about Origin as such a positive thing that guys come back with more experience or stuff. But it also, I would imagine as a professional athlete, it would make it very hard to balance your season as far as you disappear for X amount of months, you come back in. Like, he just doesn't miss a beat. He does not play bad games, Rob Toyer. This is a guy that, I can't remember when we were in Vegas 2 years ago and we were trying to send our CBA merch out.
Yep.
And like, we're trying to get to Rob Toyer, but he'd taken his Instagram down.
Yeah.
Because he was so young coming to first grade, he thought, it's probably best if I just take a step back. Like,
Yep.
That's how young this guy is.
Was he 21 now or something?
Yeah,
22?
he's 21 now.
Crazy. Just crazy.
Got 6 origins.
And I will say as well to Trent Robinson's positive is like, I feel like the players that they've signed, other than Reece Robson, who's been outstanding, they've probably struggled to like make them Roosters players. But in regards to juniors coming through, they haven't really missed. Like what?
Yep.
Like who's a junior that's come through that probably hasn't worked out? Maybe Egan Butcher. Like, I mean, but he hasn't been bad.
Hasn't been
by
bad,
any stretch.
Egan. No.
You know, like they haven't really missed in regards to anyone that I'm thinking of a junior that they've brought through.
Yeah, no, I think there's been guys that they've let go where, like, I guess you could argue, but even that, like, I think how that looks like, for the last 2 years, have been going on about how do you let Tallis Duncan leave and he's not making the SG ball side. I thought that was absurd at the time. Based on, like, Siwa and Fifita coming through this year, I'm not okay with them letting Tallis go, but I understand it a lot more now. And I think it looks a lot less dumb than it did, say, 4 months ago.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought Connor Watson was really good the other night. Like for him to come on and bring the energy that he's bringing at the moment, like I really, really liked when him and Dill Edwards had that scuffle. Like
What
that
was Edwards
aggression,
thinking there? What was Edwards thinking? I can't believe he did that.
which again, like
Bizarre.
I loved that we were able to sort of get guys making out of character plays like that the other night. Like I just think it's something that you don't really associate. We always talk about the Roosters when they look their best, power game through the middle, like being physically dominant. Outside of when Spencer's had a couple of nice moments for us, which he was known for at Penrith, I don't think of us, and obviously Rads, I don't think of us being overly aggressive. So for Connor to be that guy the other night and to be bringing that, I really like that. Phil White, as always, like 171 metres against Penrith.
Reece Robson, sorry,
I just going to say, like, they always talk about out there at Penrith that Dylan Edwards,
can throw him.
if you don't want to fight anyone,
Yeah, he used to be a
Dill.
boxer. Yeah.
I thought for a moment, I always hear that and go, oh, I've never picked up on that myself. Obviously, he's tough as nails, but and I thought, fuck, surely Connor Watson's not going to be the guy. Find out about, not the hot pirate.
No,
no, he's
Give
not
someone
the
ugly
high
out, please.
That'd be a crime against humanity written in that face. Reece Robson, boys. I just think that, you know, a lot of credit obviously goes to DC and everything like that, but they finally found a number 9 that is a Roosters style number 9. He is basically Jake Friend 2.0, to be honest. Like, I think he gets through a lot of work. I think his running game's been pretty good this year as well. Really unsung. And we kind of addressed this at the start of the year. When we're talking about signings of the year, we were like, yes, like we know he's going to play well, but he's not going to have the flashy stuff that's going to put him in as signing of the year. But he's done exactly that. He's been an unsung hero in a spine that needed a bit of stability.
He's been the hooker that the Roosters have needed him to be.
Yeah.
And that's all he needs to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Teddy, DC, Walkie just need to be the 9. And like, same as Mitch Kenny when he's in for the Panthers.
yeah.
Just need to be the hooker they need.
But like, you know, I would argue in regards to that spine, that's a hard spine to be a good hooker in, because you have to make the decision between Sam Walker, DC, or Teddy who gets the ball, and Radley as well. And he's nailing it. He's absolutely nailing it.
Him and Kenny, I reckon, play a similar role for their sides in terms of they're not amazing in terms of like deception like some other guys, like say like a Wade Egan,
Happy.
or Nappy, but their ruck rec is still phenomenal. Where if there's one marker or a quick play of the ball, every time they don't miss.
Just for the
They
casuals
go.
at home, ruck rec means ruck recognition as well.
Yeah. It sounded really good in a cowboy hat too. But that's
Ruck rec.
yeah,
settle down, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, like their ruck recognition, like seeing one marker and getting out and like going, like they don't miss, which I think is important. And I think a lot of people when they talk about like a Kenny or a Robson, they talk about their defense. Like he made 55 tackles the other night, Reece Robson, and he gets wrapped for that as he should.
Yeah.
But we sort of sleep on the idea of when it's time to go, he still doesn't miss.
Yeah,
you know?
no, absolutely. And I think especially at the start of the year, it was actually Reece Robson and Teddy that sparked the Roosters, their combination. So good stuff. Just quickly back on the Panthers, boys. Any concerns around some of their edge defense at all? Is Cogger the guy going forward? They're in a bit of a pickle at the moment. Like, you know, Ivan has said that Blaze is still there or thereabouts, but I would say this is the year where I have the most questions about some players in the Panther side more than any other year.
And I think last year was the year before this year, if you know what I mean. Like that's when we had the most question marks, but definitely this year again.
But even last year, like they were settled on positions last year.
they were, yeah. But
whereas-
we still knew where the weakness was.
Yes, for sure. But I think that this is the first time they've gone in like, who can we honestly say would be playing? I mean, will Lindsay Smith be the 13? Depends what happens to Isaiah Yeo. Because remember with Isaiah Yeo, like he's going to have to get back from a torn pec in like, what was it, 4 weeks?
Yeah, I think I saw NRL Physio say the other day that, you know, if he returns in those 4 weeks or whatever, I think it's like a 30% drop in strength or whatever on that, which for the way Yo plays, like, I think
mate.
we all talk about him as a guy that just sort of shovels the ball around, but the way that he splits A's and just the amount of meters he makes through the middle, that'll hurt them.
Yeah. Oh, and like even little things like his wrestle is the best in the competition,
Yeah.
or one of the best. He won't have the strength there. So you got questions around the 13. Who plays there? Okay, then who starts? Do you bring Isaiah Papali'i to the middle, or is it Liam Henry and Leota? Okay, so you're gonna have to bring a young guy off the bench, and then you've got Blaze Talangi. Situation. Cogger, is he going to be the main man? Casey McLean's been injured for quite a while. Is he going to come back as fresh?
And I mean, that's also assuming, in order to win a premiership, you have to get through the next 7 weeks. That's assuming they don't have any more injuries.
Yeah.
Like if a Leota or a Liam Henry goes down, it gets a little bit thin there all of a sudden.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I'm quite surprised that the Leota situation's even happening because, Liam Henry's gone. So who's the next guy?
Well, I'll tell you the other interesting thing. Toby Crosby signed with Warrington this week as well, the young fella that came over from New Zealand. Yeah.
Wild.
And
Another club wouldn't pick him up?
that's what I find bizarre. And like he hasn't I haven't watched a heap of him this year, but I've been keeping an eye on his minutes in reserve grade and whatnot. There'll be people in the comments that'll know more than me about how he's been going. But it doesn't look like he's been setting the world alight.
But
But
still
for
a
him to go
front
to
rower.
Warrington,
How
I
hard
find that
front rowers
bizarre.
are to find these days?
Yep.
And he was the New South Wales Cup winning front rower?
Yeah, if nothing else, you get you could pick up a front rower that's been in the Warriors and the Panthers system. Could be much worse, I think. I find that bizarre. He's gone over there.
I wonder whether it's like they're trying to do the route of go get some life experience and come back, I guess.
Maybe, but I mean, if Leota's not going to be there, they don't.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you've got Matt Overs to go there, you'd assume? Like,
I fucking hope so.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
I mean,
But they don't have the money to be throwing around mad overs for a reserve grade front rower, do they? In the Super League right now?
I wouldn't have a clue, but
Surely he
I
can get
find
a-
it strange that with Perth, PNG, all these teams coming in, he's ended up at Warrington. I can't figure that out. And with Leota potentially on the move, with Yo getting older, and we don't know if he's going to be there long term, I find it bizarre that the Panthers would let him go.
Wow.
Kevy, when you say before, you say, if are they convinced Cogger's the guy? Let's say if they weren't, right? Like I mentioned the other, before, missed 8 tackles. Could you potentially, if you were them, could you throw another back rower in there? And it makes it hard because Yo's out now, but could you just play another back rower there just to defend and you let Nath just run the show?
To be honest, if you're looking purely defense, I'd consider maybe Lussick when Mitch Kenny comes back.
Like just play him there
Just play him there
just
and
to
just say,
defend.
defend your dick off, and just when Lindsay Smith and Isaiah and Cleary, you run the team until Isaiah goes back. Maybe. But I do think that's a big if. That's a huge call to make.
Massive call, but
Because although he missed 8 tackles, they still only leaked 12 points.
that's right. And
Yeah. Still the best defensive team over the season, I think.
yeah, they are. I was looking at that before. Like the Roosters have still averaged just under 20 points a game in terms of conceding. Which is I know in the context of this year and the way it's being refereed and stuff, that's still not a lot. But relative to the Panthers, it's still substantially more. Yeah.
So, some big questions. Big questions. Okay. Manly defeat the Dolphins 22-0. How many? What do you think this one, mate?
Dolphins
Other way around.
defeat
Sorry,
Manly.
my bad. The Dolphins defeat Manly 22-0.
Yeah.
Apologies.
We almost got to win.
Yeah, I think you're trying to manifest your 13 plus Manly there.
Instead of Fosball, it should be Rubal.
Yeah, this game was a bit of a grind to start off with. First try didn't come until the 30th minute, just about. It was a bit of a grind, pretty grubby. Bit of a pooslinger, truth be told. But the cream rose to the top. The Dolphins, obviously, they got enough. Pretty much everyone in that back line kind of got across the line in the end. They can hit you from anywhere, and they've jumped up into the top 4. I think they've been a little bit up and down, but if they can, keep the momentum going a month out from the finals, they've probably got the ingredients there to challenge. I don't have them probably on the same level as your Panthers or your Roosters and Warriors, but on their day, they're good enough to definitely put a dent in some of those top teams. So, top 4 finish will be critical for them. They're in there at the moment. It's theirs to lose after the Sharkies dropped that game on the weekend.
Huge.
Jesus, Sharkies, you'd be so frustrated.
Yeah, their last 2 weeks have been left, especially considering how good they've been going and the hurt that they put on the Dolphins, put 50 on them a few weeks ago. But, I thought they were impressive. Good got the job done. And yeah, Fosball, that probably looks like that's pretty much it now. Thank God we don't have to go to Manly just about. I think.
Are we home or not?
We're home.
I think we need one more loss.
Yeah, I'm not going. Like, we're not doing fucking quantum physics to like say that they can make it and then go on. They've got to be a fair mathematical chance, not some fucking bizarre, string theory shit.
So what happens if they beat the Knights this week? Are you going?
Well, would depend on other results, wouldn't it?
I reckon you put it down to the result of this game. Like if they,
Yeah, fucking
Fuck off,
dickhead.
mate.
Yeah, man.
Because you already won the Manly shit.
I reckon if they win, you go.
I reckon you go fuck yourself. How about that?
And you dress that as well. I can see the Arsenal chaps in the flesh.
Just like as you just alluded to as well, like what a pain in the ass time of the year for these teams like, the Sharkies, the Cowboys that are trying to keep up with these top three teams. Then you got these other sides who have played like spuds all year that all of a sudden turn up for games. Fucking frustrating as all hell.
Mate, 100%. And like, we knew the Raiders could do this, but it's a matter of actually doing it. They've gone out and done it. Dolphins 22-0. I've got to be honest, the commentators were like fully negative on Dolphins, like that they were playing very conservatively. I'm like, they're trying to build back into their season. I'm like, you go down there, you beat the Seagulls 22-0. Was it the highest quality game? No, it wasn't. But you still kept the Seagulls to 0. It's the first time in 33 years that they've been held scoreless at 4 Points Park at Brookie. Like, I'm pretty happy with that as a Dolphins fan. You're trying to rebuild into the season.
Mate, I 100% agree. I think as well that with this Dolphins side, like, they could have won this 36-28. We know they could have.
Yeah.
I think they put an emphasis on their defense in this game, which if they're going to compete come September, they know they can't play tennis with sides.
Yep.
I think there was a side that put an emphasis on, let's test ourselves. Let's kick down there. Let's just control this game of football. And they did it for 80 minutes against the Seagulls team who they might not be going unbelievably well, but it's a good attacking side. They can score points from absolutely anywhere. To keep Manly to 0 at Brookvale, I don't care how Manly's going. That's a huge achievement.
First time in 33 years. That's why I was shocked, being so, like, they were up 8-0 and getting criticised for being conservative. And I was like, these guys got absolutely pumped 3 or 4 weeks ago. They need to work on the defense. We all know they can attack, like they can switch it on. So I was actually, as I said, it's not something I'm sitting there going, what an incredible performance. It's something to write home about. But I'm like, this is exactly what I'd be hoping for, realistically talking about the Dolphins, which is high quality, high completion, 22-0. It's a great win.
Clayton, Saab, Kohler, Garrick, Lehigh, Joey Walsh, Olakawatu, there's points all through this side.
They also made several line breaks where Garrick or Saab found themselves essentially in the clear and they scrambled well to stop it. I think keeping them to 0 is a massive deal. I think if nothing else, it's reassuring to know that they can do that. Especially you said before, Hammy, to have let in 66 points a month ago. It is a big turnaround regardless of who it's against. And the one thing you couldn't knock Manly for is their strike. 0 is huge.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And if the Dolphins would have scored 36 and lost 38-36, it would be the end of the world.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be in the top 4. You'd be bagging the hell out of them. They won 22 in the NRL. Keeping a team to 0 is an incredible achievement.
Well, if they won 34-24, we'd be sitting there going, 24 points against Manly. I don't know if I like that. So I'm happy with it. I want to talk about Selwyn Cobbo's try. Ridiculous. Only Selwyn Cobbo could do that. Not only did he score the try, he gets up and acts like he didn't score the try. He just kind of goes, yeah. And it's one of the best put downs you'll ever see. I cannot express to you how hard it is to keep grip of the ball in one hand whilst you've got 2 dudes charging across and contacting you. And he somehow, some way got it down to the try. It's one of the best put downs I've ever seen. And I know people go, oh, what about where it's around the corner post or whatever? They're still good, those put downs. But to contort yourself in that position whilst 2 guys are taking your head off is unbelievable stuff. And also a shot before where it did look like he got a bit concussed, stung a little bit from Falala, which is a great shot. It's an incredible put down from Selwyn Cobbo.
That shot was insane, by the way.
Oh, mate.
You did that on Selwyn?
Yeah. Wow. Clayton, we'll get to him because he had an error here or there towards the back end of the game, but geez, I love him as a player.
Yeah, I think when you talk about Selwyn and that put down, I think when you look at this Dolphins side, just they're 2 wingers. There's tries that only those 2 can score.
Yeah.
As far as finishes in the game, I find those 2 very hard to beat.
Mate, Asako, it probably not. Tupou most underrated when you look at his career, but like a current winger playing right now, Asako is the most underrated in regards to form
Yeah, I agree.
and what he
Yeah.
delivers to his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon they got the most dangerous backline in the comp. And they're all out there at the moment. You know, Bostock obviously was missing a little bit at the start of the year, but they are a team that any one of those 5 at the back can get you from anywhere. You know, so
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm with you.
That's the
you
other
look at-
thing about the Dolphins. Sorry, like just they've missed Katoa for extended periods. Hammer's missed a couple of games. They had Bostock out for ages. Like Herbie's had a couple of weeks that he's missed. Like, you know, to downplay that they just beat a team at home playing for their season is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Bostock as well, very quickly, has not lost a game of footy all season, be that at Clubland or Origin.
really,
I'll tell you what, if they don't make they don't make the top 4, geez, they're going to piss some clubs off because they're a team that could knock the Roosters off or knock the Panthers off. And now, are they going to play 4 good games in a row? I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, they truly are a side, though, that if they make the 4, them playing 3 good games in a row, like, I can see that. I can see that happening.
Outside of the top 3, are they the team you'd least want to play?
Yeah.
100%. Because they just can score points from anywhere, and they're big, powerful forward pack.
but also like if they do come fourth, like I reckon they'd scare the shit out of those other 3 teams. Like if they do hold on to fourth, which I reckon they will. Like, there's no pressure on them. Like even the way we're talking about them, the way the commentators spoke about them on Friday night, like no one fucking really expects them to do anything, and they definitely can
Yeah, absolutely.
with all the boys back on the field.
Even in
Like,
the top 4, you're right. Like in the top 4, they are got the least pressure by
Yeah,
a lot.
it's going to be the Dolphins have finally made the finals. How good's that? Whereas Roosters, Panthers, Warriors, you're going, this is your opportunity.
Yeah. And Sharkies, you're going, you should have made the 4.
Yep. The boys are leaving at the end of the year. You've got to make this count.
Yep.
wait, Donahue comes back in as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
Maxi Plath was out as well this week, was he? I think.
No, he played.
they
He
played.
played. Is he out next week? No, it's Donahue that's out.
Donahue's
Donahue's
out,
Donahue's
So
out.
he's to come back in too. So like you could still argue like they haven't really had their entire side on the field. Like I know he's not a spine guy, but you could definitely argue that he is. Like, you know.
Well, he is.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dono
sorry,
as well.
Dono,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to shout out to Jeremy Marshall King. 51 tackles and 0 misses. Unbelievable. For a guy that's known for his attack, that's a bloody good stat.
Yeah, I think JMK as well. Like he missed the preseason with an injury too. I think he only came back in like round 7, 8, or 9, something around that mark. And he's come straight back into this side and he's made an immediate difference. Like they looked a bit shaky at the start of the year. I think probably one of the turning points has been JMK coming back into the side.
And he's only going to get better, obviously, because
Yep.
it's a bit underdone. Francis Smile, I want to give him a rap, mate. He is just like, would be on peanuts probably compared to other front rowers. He just goes about his business. He's always in the side. He never really gets dropped. He's been one of the mainstays, especially when you hear whispers about, they're looking at Flegler and they're probably not willing to pay as much as he's asking at the moment being an Origin player. I mean, you only say stuff like that if you've got another guy sitting there kind of doing a job.
And keep in mind, like they've lost Daniel Saifidi as well,
Yeah.
which everyone just sort of skims over to some extent.
Yeah. Like they got Tom Gilbert playing 29 minutes.
Yeah. Connolly Lemuelu, I haven't heard an update on that injury. He picked up a hamstring injury during this game. That's a big one.
That is big because he is their go-to for points.
Yeah. My fear is, and this is where, had they kept Oren Keeley, my fear is they move Plath out there, which I don't like. I think you need Plath through the middle.
Could
personally.
you do Donahue out there for a period?
Potentially Tom Gilbert you could do. He spent time out on
He's
an
done.
edge.
Yeah.
You'd probably go Gilbert, don't you?
I would go Gilbert. I don't think they can afford to move Plath out there.
Could you go
personally.
Stone? Do you reckon he's quick enough
I
laterally
don't think
these days?
I don't think he'll actually.
think so.
Nah.
Nah. I'd go Gilbert. Gilbert or Donahue, but I wouldn't be. I think Plath is too important.
He's too important.
So
Yeah,
he's
moving
Donahue,
it.
I reckon.
Yeah, look, he is as well. But I'm just looking at mobility. Like he came through the grades, I think, as a half, so you'd be mobile enough. But Tommy Gilbert, Tommy Gilbert seems like the guy. I just want to read the stats of their backs as well. Like you got 129 meters for Hammer, 291 meters and 89 post contact for Asako. You've got 184 meters from Bostock, 152 meters from Herbie, and Solomon Cobbo 194 meters. Like that's a stat I'm reading from peak Penrith. When Penrith was at their peak, that's the backline stat that you would read, something like that. So, look, good win.
Could you consider Felice on the edge? Or is he too old at this
Too
point?
old at this point, I reckon.
Okay.
And he's been doing an okay job through the middle, like not killing the stats or whatever.
Oh,
but
I just
doing
think like from a defensive point of view, he's obviously getting older.
yeah.
I think they're more likely to go Donahue than what I would like to think, though, if they're looking to have someone out there that can still create something. Like one of you said last week about how Fino Fuiaki sort of gets through a heap of work, but Connolly's sort of the guy that you go to if you want to create something out of nothing. If they're going to replace that, you probably do look at Kurt, to be honest.
The other one that could be the most like for like is young Brian Poigneux, who's played centres a few times, but he's been playing back row and reserve grade this year.
Okay.
I mean, he's one that could maybe split minutes with, like,
Or even
Gilbert.
if you throw him in next week just to see how he goes, and then you go to Gilbert if he struggles a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, on to Manly. Wow. First of all, I want to say they are decimated with injury. To my understanding, it was like pretty much the people they named was all that is available in their top squad. But it was grim reading at one point when you looked at their forward pack on the field and you're going, wow, like this is not the highest quality on paper right now in regards to where they're at in their career and all that kind of stuff. I'm still of the mind that they've got to get in the market. I don't think they should be sitting on this roster for another year. I think they've got to make some really tough calls because I just don't think this is the roster that's going to get them any further next year.
No, they have to make moves. They have to make moves in the forward pack. If you have a look, from the moment Taniela Paseka went off the field last week against Melbourne, they lost that 40-6 or whatever. He didn't play in this game, 22-0. That's essentially about 100 minutes, 100 and something minutes without Taniela Paseka, and they're down 60-6 essentially. I've always said for a long time, he is wildly important to this Manly side. I'd argue he's the most valuable player to a team that's not in the top 50 players in the NRL. When you take him out of that forward pack, it looks completely different. And the last 2 weeks, as much evidence as you need.
Yeah, they just, unfortunately, the depth, the ability to stand up even for a few games, they just don't have it. They just do not have it. I know they got Mawali next year, but like Mawali can't even crack the Storm side.
Well, they played Melbourne last week. Mawali played 8 minutes off the bench.
Yeah.
He's not in the team consistently.
Yeah, and that's a side that is desperate for forwards at stages throughout this season. Now, they've got is it Khalees from the Warriors?
Yeah, Kalis from the Warriors,
and he is a edge back rower.
Yeah, I think he can play both, but yeah, it's still a young, untested guy.
Yeah, Caleb, and they got that Caleb Navale, who's did the ACL this year. So, like, there are some green shoots. I'm just worried that, like, you're looking at guys that are relatively green into first grade.
Yes.
So it's a big ask to expect them just to come in and be a top 8 side when that's what's going to expectation for the Manly next year is top 8.
Like, do Manly have a look at I know we've already spoken about it, but like Toby Crosby, like, how does Manly not throw him a bone?
Surely.
Stay in the NRL.
Surely
you go after Leota, like kitchen sink stuff. Like, you got these 2 young guys there. You got Simi, who's got a lot of potential too. Like, there's enough young blokes there. Like, you're Mawali. I still reckon he's got a lot of upside that we haven't seen yet. You got the young guys there. Surely you bring in a guy who, like, is tried and tested, proven.
That's right as well. Like, with Kieran Foran as the coach and his connections to New Zealand Rugby League over the last 10 years and, like, playing for them last year, like, surely he'd have he would have played with Leota at test level.
I can't believe Leota isn't, like, literally linked to them, beyond a shadow of a doubt. I would pay Leota 2-year deal if they've got money in the cap, $900K a year.
I'd pay him $1 million if I'm Manly.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's probably I know you could argue he's not worth that, but to Manly, I would argue he absolutely is.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't push too far back on it. As long as it's a 2-year deal, I would be willing to pay that. I'm shocked that he's not linked heavily to Manly. Now, maybe they don't have the money in the cap. I do also think one thing he has to do, and I don't know if he's going to need enough time, well, hopefully his contract suggests he will, they are so back heavy. They've got I'd way rather a team with a forward pack heavy roster than a back heavy roster. Yeah. And they're so back heavy, they've got to sort that out. They've got to sort it out. Yes, are you going to lose, Garrick's obviously leaving, but are you going to lose, like, the great depth that they have? You are. But what you're going to get back in return is, like, a squad with too many forwards can sometimes do something above their, punch above their weight. A squad with too many backs is just never going to, like, it's just.
I mean, look at the Canberra Raiders over the last few years.
They're the perfect example. Like, they've scrounged and scratched to bring these kind of outside backs together, and they managed to make it work, but they've always given themselves a chance. Like, they've never been a team that's just getting pumped constantly. Why? Because their forward pack keeps them in games a lot of the time.
But I mean, even their backline, like, there's very good players there, but, like, the depth probably isn't what it used to be as well, realistically. Like, once you take Ruben Garrick out of it, when Turbo's fit and available and he's starting at fullback, like, it's only Clayton that's missing out.
Yeah, but, like, what are you paying Lehigh to play?
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah. But that's what, like, I think that also comes back to their salary cap management. Because, like, if they don't have the money to go out and get a Leota, Like when you're looking at this squad, I'm going, where is the money?
Yeah. No, that's a, like is if Jake's on $1 million next year, like, you have to have a conversation. Like, I know he's a spiritual leader, and I do believe that he's definitely, he is absolutely still should be in the playing group. But is he delivering $1 million a season right now as a 13? If that is what he's on,
No.
I don't think he is.
No.
That's money that could be spent on Leota, So
They also, like, the other night, it frustrated the shit out of me. They never went, like, Hamole did not get anywhere near enough ball. Like, when Asako took that intercept, like, have we seen Hamole score 5 tries this year within 10 metres of the line where it's come from nothing? They've just given him the ball and he's skittled 8 blokes and scored. Like, why are you playing Wheat out to the left when you got, like, he didn't touch the ball in good ball, essentially.
yeah,
He's been your only hope all year, or to use your term that you stole from me before, green shoot. You know?
What's his ruck rec like?
Not great, because he's just saying,
But I think as well with Ola Kawatu and the way they're utilising him, like, if he was outside the young fella, sort of be like, okay, he's getting used. Like, Fogarty should have him getting good ball all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
And that's my frustration on that edge.
Yeah, some other little things like, a couple errors from Joey Walsh. I think you're starting to see, like, before he made his debut, depending who you ask, it was incredibly talented, but might be a little bit early in regards to like him ready for first grade. I think you're starting to see that a little bit. Now, I don't think you need to go backwards at all, like he's a first grader, but there's a bit of his game he just needs to clean up.
Yeah, and the reality is, like, one, yes, he's early to first grade. The other reality is he's early to rugby league.
Yes. Yeah.
Which people need to keep in mind.
Yeah. Just speak quickly about that 10 in the bin. I thought that was super harsh, that 10 in the bin. Only last week, Kurt Donahue ran back, and some people think he made the 10. When you actually look at how far Kohler, was it Kohler?
you talk about when the Kohler one, not Conley's one?
No, the Kohler one.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually look at it, he got back at least 8 meters. How can you say that's a professional foul when he could have judged, okay, I'm back 10 meters now. And only last week, Kurt Donahue was sweet.
I think the other hard thing with these situations is that when you go upstairs and you look at it, what they do is they take the 10 metres from the play the ball. It's actually not where the 10 metres is. It's from wherever the referee is standing as well, which is the other thing that makes it difficult to make a call on.
Yeah. And so I don't know how you could say that, like, that was bad enough to be a professional foul when he's judging in his mind whether he's gotten back 10.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, so you've got enough evidence there that you reckon he intentionally didn't try to get back 10 when he got back 8 at the very least.
Yeah. And I think there's a huge difference between getting back 5 and 8.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enormous difference.
Yeah. And when you actually look at it, he gets back at least 8.
Yeah.
At least
Which
8.
is the same as the Donahoe one last week. Like, I thought he got back 10. I'll tell you what, there's not a hope in hell he got back 11. No. It was 9 to 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my
So
opinion, yeah.
Are you telling me that's so different that one is not even a penalty and the other one is 10 in the bin? I don't think it is.
Well, I think it's a really good point you just raised where I think you'd really struggle to find a quick play of the ball ever where the ref is set. Like the ref is still retreating himself. So in a try-scoring position, like, what do you expect someone to do? Like whether
especially when he's making effort too. Like, he's actually trying to get back.
And I think it's the same with the Kurt one and the Tolu one. Like, you expect them to fucking pull out. Like,
especially in the situation as well. And I can't remember where the referee was placed for this one, but if you have a look at the Donahoe one last week, when he's actually running back, because Billy Walters goes to the right, he's actually got his back to the referee. So he can't actually see where the 10 metres is, and his players are coming up. So it becomes a bit of a grey zone working out where it should be. But when you send it upstairs, the video ref has a look at it, they mark 10 metres from where the ball was played to where it should be.
I just think you can see when a bloke's trying to make effort to get back.
Yeah, and you can tell when a bloke's going, fuck it, I'm going to punt here.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like a professional foul was supposed to be, is like, you've got enough evidence that there was an intention. You knew it was wrong and you did it. Whereas I don't think Kohler's sitting there going, like, I'm trying to fucking game the system here. He's thinking, fuck, this guy's make a line break. I'm nearly back 10. All right, now I'm going to take this tackle. So I don't know, thought they were harsh done by there. But yeah, look, Manly, on the other, in regards to the performance, just disappointing. Yeah, like, for example, I know, Walsh is not the only problem, but in the first 15 minutes, he had 2 errors, just boom, off the bat. So he's got to sort that as a first grader, but he's not the main problem. I just think it's his forward pack. They just get rolled, like absolutely rolled. And I know they've tried to get around that by spreading the ball quite a lot, but yeah, it's just not working at the moment.
So we essentially need the Bunnies or the Cowboys to win one more. Or the Cowboys have a bye this week. We need the Bunnies to win one more game, just sort of, or Manly to lose one more game to keep us out of going to Brookvale. Is that where we're at?
Yes, which is what I was rudely criticised for before. I think if they win, this week, you actually have to go.
If they win this week.
Yeah, like if they beat the Knights, I think that's a reasonable thing that you have to go. If they lose, I think it's done.
But if Souths win this week as well,
yeah.
that'll put Souths on 32 competition points. It'll put the Cowboys on 30 because they have the bye. It'll put the Seagulls on 26. Yeah,
So-
right. And there's 3 rounds. Oh, there's 2 rounds.
Two rounds.
rounds
Less.
go.
I
Yeah.
reckon if they both win,
They're 3 wins
you're
ahead.
off the hook.
Yeah. And the 3, like, so you've got South on 12 wins and you've got North Queensland Cowboys on 12 wins and they got a bye, so they'll go to 13 and they're on 9. Like, they can't. I don't, like, what maths?
The Raiders is a good point too. That does make it harder to. But yeah.
They would need to lose both games to even be a like both teams, I think, would have to lose both games to create 2 spots to get in because Raiders are higher.
I think you should just go anyway, to be honest.
Okay, it's time for the Rabbitohs defeating the Bulldogs 22-6. 22-6. Look, this was easily the best performance I've seen from the Rabbitohs all season long. You know, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because it's like, okay, we need to see this week on, week out. However, if you look at Wayne Bennett's history and his ability to peak at the right time, maybe we're witnessing the start of the Rabbitohs come good. But I can only judge on what I saw in that 80 minutes performance, and it was outstanding. This is easily the best they've played. It was actually their defense that was what won them this game, in my opinion. I felt like the first 15 minutes they did really, really well to withstand a lot of pressure from the Dogs, especially the White and try-saver, which was absolutely incredible. But I think it was a really good indication of 2 teams that were like, for a long period of the game, pretty much as good as each other. However, one team has elite level attack and the other team doesn't. Because as soon as the Rabbitohs got down the Dogs' end, they looked so much more dangerous. Whereas the Dogs, they had nothing. They really struggled to create any kind of space, any kind of points, obviously. And yeah, the Rabbitohs defended as well as the Bulldogs do, then went up and showed that this is what a well-oiled, good attack looks like.
Yeah, I think both these teams as a whole, I find both of them incredibly frustrating to watch. Obviously, Canterbury, we know what they did last year. They're just not hitting anywhere near their potential. I'm still not even sure if South Sydney are anywhere near their potential. Like, even in the first half, just some of the errors they made. Like, there was at one point they got a penalty, they kicked for touch. It was finally a chance for them to really assert some dominance. And I think Keon dropped it off the tap. Just those little moments I find so frustrating with South Sydney. And I think the other thing with the Bunnies, I don't know if he's available, Matty, but if Latrell Seagold isn't injured, if for nothing else other than goal kicking, I think they have to pick him.
Okay. Just with the goal kicking, Paul.
Mate, it's been like a month. Have you got a mic, Matty? I can't even see you. Oh, sure, but you've kicked, 3 goals in the last month? Like, when you get into September, it's going to count at some point. 1 from 5.
1 from 6. Oh, no, there's a field goal there. Yeah.
1 from 5 is unheard of in the NRL.
He had a groin problem though, didn't he?
Who, sorry?
But Bud, when he was kicking him?
Bud, yeah. But mate, like this has happened for a few weeks now with South Sydney. Like, they are leaving a lot of points out there off goal kicking pretty consistently. I know it's not the most important thing in the world, but I think it's going to become reasonably important to South Sydney. They're going up in 4s instead of 6s.
Yeah. It's a fair point. Tommy, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, similar to Roo, like a bit frustrating, but I think for South, like we were speaking about it earlier, and like both teams essentially playing for their season. You know, like if you want to leave mathematical chat out of it, they were both playing.
If you wouldn't mind.
That spot of the 8, like they were both fighting out for it. And I think, you know, you spoke about that Whiten tackle before, like South scrambled really well early. And despite the frustrating errors with the ball, I thought they had enough in them, like even, you know, to make the Bulldogs pay for their errors. I think that was the main point of difference between the two sides. Like South's made the Dogs pay for their errors more than the Dogs did the other way. Like,
yeah, I'm a bit surprised because like they completed at nearly 90% the Rabbitohs, so I'm surprised that there's so much negative chat. I thought they were outstanding. I know they made some errors early, but I thought outside the first 20 they were great.
I thought they did a great job to win this game, and but even you know, Hayward drops the ball off the kickoff second half. They score the next set through Tallis. Like just gets through 1-on-1. Like they had a really nice try as well. The AJ try where they skinned him down that right edge.
You know what? You want to hear a fucking mental thing about AJ? So this whole season we've been sitting there going, Jenkins is unbelievable. Like, what is Jenkins doing? We've never seen it before. AJ's 2 tries behind him.
Yeah.
26 tries.
And his strike rate's better. Yeah, we spoke of this a few weeks ago. It's incredible. No one's talking about what AJ is doing. And, AJ at the start of the season was scoring a lot of tries because Latrell was inside him. Latrell hasn't been there for 3 months.
And also, AJ's been doing it for a decade.
Crazy.
It is unbelievable. Like, we've got this guy that's meteorically, like, everyone's talking about Jenkins, and rightly so. He's been amazing. Alex Johnson's in his, 10th year, and he's only 2 tries behind, and it's just a normal year for him. 12th year. That is crazy, bro. That is freaking crazy.
Yeah, and I think, often AJ he doesn't get the raps he deserves because of, like you mentioned before, like Trell Mitt normally inside him. The last couple of years being a fullback sets up a lot of the tries. Cody obviously loves that left side too. Like, there's a fucking lot of tries where AJ has so much work to do. He scored a really good one last week where he had to come off his left foot and reach out to score. Like, it's one thing to try and say, oh yeah, he's great at scoring tries, but a lot of these tries he scores, he has a heap of work to do, and he's the one that makes it happen. It's crazy.
You don't get into your 12th year and you're still scoring 26 tries against a side that has been on the fringe of the 8 for the whole year, or at least 7th to 8. It's just amazing, truly amazing.
Just to back up what I was saying before, I've gone through the South Sydney Rabbitohs their last month of footy. They've kicked 7 from 20 goals.
That's crazy.
Like, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I know people, it's goal kicking, it doesn't matter. 7 out of 20 is disgraceful in the NRL.
Yeah. Especially in a lot of their games in the last few weeks. Obviously, they won by 16 points on the weekend, but before that, the margin was 4 points. They've had a couple of games they've only won by, 2 to 6 points, and they lost one by 10. It's going to cost them, and continue to cost them, especially as they get.
Surely there's someone that can kick at 60%.
Mate, that's like, if you're kicking at 75% now in the NRL, you're par for the course. You're not great. You're sort of par for the course. They're at half that over the last month.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy.
There's no one really, I was trying to remember before, I don't really remember Cody ever kicking for him, ever. Has Jack Whiting ever kicked for Canberra?
I don't think so.
Not properly.
No, well, they don't really have any alternative, do they, right now?
Well, you've got Latrell Seagwald, but defensively, there are issues there, as Matty pointed out, which is completely fair. But yeah, you're coming into September. You can't be going up in 4s.
Yeah, that is
especially when you're going to concede as many points as they do.
Yeah. Hopefully, I guess Bud Sullivan's groin is better, I guess, going forward. Maybe that was the reason why you struggled when he was kicking.
If you have a look around the league, like Nathan Cleary kicks at 85%, Osaka kicks at 85%, Nico Hines kicks at 85%, Nick Meaney's at 83%. Like, Ethan Sanders is at 80%, Val Holmes is at 80%. Like, South Sydney Rabbitohs over the last month have been less than half of those guys. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's tough. And look, to be fair, and I think people are going to be thinking we're talking specifically about Sullivan, but he actually hasn't been in the side. He's only been in the side this week. Sullivan?
Yeah,
this
but
week?
they had these issues before as well.
No, but what I'm trying to say is,
Yes.
people will think we're talking about Sullivan being a terrible kicker, but he actually hasn't been in the side.
Yes.
It's still a problem,
yeah.
but it's not
Their
just him.
kickers have been Ward and Seawald, don't know.
Well, Seagwald, when he played 3 games ago, he went 2 from 3. And that's sort of the game that almost lifts this stat up to 40%.
So really, it's Ward that is not a good goal kicker, and he's had a great year. I'm not saying. Oh, so Dufty was kicking as well. Yeah. Wow.
Been a lot of guys have the T this year.
Yeah,
South Sydney,
wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, that aside, I want to get to the battler of the week. And he's had a battle back to his good form, and he's probably been, I think, unsung hero is a bit aggressive, but he has been much better than people have given him credit for this year. That he started the year with some holes in his games, but ever since he's come back from injury, how long did he spend out with injury again, Matty? Yeah. Since he's come back, he's been quite good. But the Bushranger Battler of the Week, it's brought to you by Bushranger Power Equipment. Tough, reliable gear built for hardworking Aussies. Whether you're on the tools, on the land, or sorting the backyard on the weekend, Bushranger is built to get the job done. It's David Fifita. I thought on the weekend he was absolutely phenomenal. And I do think you're starting to see him sort out all the little, deficiencies in his game. We know in attack, he's one of the best in the competition when he gets the ball in hand. But I think defensively also, there's been some really good moments where I've said that's a big effort. And I think that you're slowly seeing that time under Wayne bring the best out in a guy like David Fifita, because they're going to need him. If they make any sort of push, they're going to need him. But, mate, he was phenomenal on the weekend.
Yeah, on his day, one of the best back rowers in rugby league, and on his day, realistically, one of the best players in rugby league. But as you pointed out, mate, I think it's the effort areas that you've seen started to lift. I think as well, it's been very evident, from from making the move down to South Sydney. I believe his father passed away at the start of the year as well. Like it's been a big 12 months or so for Dave Fifita, who's a guy that, he didn't put these raps on himself at an early age as well. He's always been under pressure. And I think you are starting to see the Wayne Bennett effect starting to come into his game, which is good to see.
And I think, you're starting to see the positives of being patient with a guy that has had a complicated career, whereas I think a lot of coaches just immediately go, they come in, it's almost like an army kind of setup where it's like everyone gets treated equally. If you don't hit these standards, we throw you to the curb. Whereas I think with David Fifita, the patience Wayne has shown with him in this season, it's just allowed Fifita to almost get because so many times you see these star players, coaches try to be super harsh on them, and they just don't react well because they sit across and they go, okay, all right, am I a perfect player? No, but there are players in this team playing way worse than me that aren't getting hammered, and I think Wayne's approach is much more let me build trust with you, trust me that I can get the best out of you. And at the moment, I feel like you're getting that with Fifita. He seems like the kind of player that needs a Wayne Bennett style of coach rather than a really harder conservative coach. Because some of the stuff he's been outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's funny, when you're a player who's got such X factor and so big and explosive, they don't really get wrapped for to run for 148 meters in the NRL is a ton.
It's good for the edge back rower, yeah.
When you're not a back five player where you're getting kick return meters, that's huge. And because we know what he's capable of and some of the freakish tries he's created over the years, either for himself or other people, unless he's doing those sort of things, which are generational things, you don't get the raps for doing the tough stuff, I think. And to see him building that aspect into his game, even that try he scored, the way he chased that kick, just so much more intent than what we've seen at different stages of his career so far. So, that was definitely reassuring. I also just think, looking at this side, if you got Latrell to come back in and that play that Jack Whiten came up with early in the game when he stopped Crichton from scoring, there's a couple of guys within this side that do have big game experience. And I think, you wouldn't really want to, it looks like they're going to get 7th or 8th. You wouldn't want to come up against them.
Yeah.
If you're one of those top 4 sides and you lose the first week and then you're coming up against South Sydney, there's enough guys that have done it before. Jack Whiten, he's playing at centre.
They got a couple of big games in them for sure.
Right, yeah.
Well, speaking of Jackie Whiten, he's our NordVPN Defence Player of the Week. The tackle on Crichton, it really set the tone. They were under a lot of pressure, and somehow, some way, I thought Crichton was over for all money. Just wraps the ball up, manages to hold him up, and I think it was a set or two later that they go down and score, and just completely released all the pressure that the Bulldogs had been building. And I feel like it was such a crucial moment at the game where Bulldogs can break a lot of sides with that first 20 minutes of pressure and fitness where sides go, geez, we can barely breathe. We're getting smothered here, truly suffocated with the Bulldogs' line speed and attack. And that Whiten play, I just think that changed everything. It really changed the game. So he's our NordVPN Defence Player of the Week. I was overseas before the season started, guys. NordVPN, and I use NordVPN. Sport events, movies, you name it. I watched it like I was back home. Another great feature is you can switch your virtual location to so many different places in the world. This allows you to save money by purchasing flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at a cheaper price. It's also super safe. NordVPN provides you with privacy online, leaving no digital footprint by hiding your IP address. To get the best discount, our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan, and there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So give it a try, guys, because there's no risk. If you don't like it, doesn't work, or whatever for you, 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box. If you need a VPN, use NordVPN because it supports the platform.
I think that's the play for me, the tackle on Stephen Crichton there, that for me, I found South Sydney very frustrating in the first 20 minutes because they just made so many errors. And I think come September, some of these top sides, they will make you pay for that.
Yeah.
And I think had Canterbury scored that try, if Jack Whiten doesn't make that excellent tackle there, I think this game looks very differently because I just don't think Canterbury made South Sydney pay for their errors at the start of the game, which these top sides will against the Bunnies.
Well, when you have that much field position, you want to be up 12-0 or something.
Yep.
Because then all of a sudden, let's say you lose momentum and South score, it's 12-all or it's 14-12 or something like that, and the game's in the balance. But unfortunately, when they didn't cash in that first 20, it just wasn't good enough. Just quickly before we move on from Rabbitohs, I thought Cam Murray was phenomenal. Just the work the guy gets through. Truly outstanding. He was great. So Dufty, I also thought was really good. I think that he's another example of bizarre because he was actually at the Dogs, but unfortunately, look across with Connor Tracy. He works his backside off Connor Tracy. He really is lovely bloke, good footy player, but he just doesn't offer. He's got 4 try assists in the whole season, I'm pretty sure. Dufty in that game alone, he had multiple line break assists, multiple times where his ball playing, it really opened up for him. So much so that when he did score his try, it was because they were worried about what was outside him. And I think that Dufty, although I still, ironically, would still probably go with Jai Gray, I'm understanding what Wayne is looking at and saying, I need some ball playing out the back.
Yeah, completely agree. I think the other one that deserves a little shout out in this game, Adam Elliott obviously got injured 12 minutes into it. Ewan Aiken hasn't played in 3 weeks. He's been crook. Apparently he's lost about 4 or 5 kilos over the last few weeks.
Yes.
In this game, he ended up playing 2 30-minute stints. Ran for 120 metres off 17 runs, 24 tackles, 0 missed. First game back, good knock.
Yeah.
When he was probably, I would assume, anticipating to play 15, 20 minutes in this game.
Okay, onto the Doggies. I've got to say, really disappointing performance. And the reason is this, is like, if you come and you play a Rabbitohs side that just is more silky than you, and they just manage to be better than you with the ball, I think a lot of people can sit here and say, you know what? When I look at the rosters and I look at their culture and style of play, sometimes you just get beaten by a better, silkier side. I think the most disappointing thing for the Dogs is they got beaten on effort. And if you look at the hard-earned index, when the game was over, there wasn't a single Bulldog in the top 5. That is unforgivable when the game's on. When your season is on the line and your whole club is built on hard work, unfortunately, that is unforgivable. This was a really disappointing low point for the Bulldogs this season because they've done so much to earn everyone's respect back. To play like that with the season on the line, they got huge problems heading into next year. And I know it sounds tough saying that considering they've actually been quite good these last, I guess say 10 weeks or whatever. They've been okay. But to dish up that in a season-defining game, that's really concerning to me.
Yeah, well, they look like a team that have been chasing their tail all season. Realistically, they've played, close to sudden death footy the last few weeks, and it's taken a toll just to back up your sort of hard index stuff there. Like you have a look at the forward pack. Max King was the only one to go above 80 metres.
Jeez.
Leo Thompson, 69 metres. Kickout, 59. Jacob Preston, 81. Jamin Salmon, 66.
Against a Rabbitohs pack, like respectfully, like Rabbitohs packs are not known for suffocating teams. Now, maybe the Rabbitohs were just phenomenal, but to be honest, they lacked a lot of...
I don't think they were phenomenal by any means.
I just think this is a really disappointing performance from the Doggies.
Yeah.
Tommy, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I thought one guy that, he's copped a lot of shit this year from different people and, like, understandably, in terms of under the high ball and a few things defensively. But I thought when Rinakam went off, they actually really missed his work out of his own end. That's one area that he's actually really strong at and he gets through a lot of work for them. So I thought they did miss that. But, yeah, I think what was disappointing about him is to, I guess, like you said, have your season on the line and just to lose a couple of those real key moments. Like even, like Hayward, like always tried his ass off. There's no question about that. Made 55 tackles. Like to drop the ball off the kickoff, and to let points in off the back of that. And it was just a one-on-one miss on Tallis Duncan. Like, you can't afford to do that. And I even saw that there was a comment on our post that went up earlier today, like from a Dogs fan, just saying they don't deserve to be there. And unfortunately, I think this performance reflected that. And they had that brave win over the Wires a few weeks ago, and definitely a part of me was like, I actually hope they make the 8. They're starting to look like the team.
Yeah, me too.
We know that they could be. But South clearly looked like they wanted it more, and they earned a pretty convincing win in the end. So, yeah.
Hammy, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, disappointed. This was it for the Dogs. Like if they won, I always thought the winner of this game would be the team that would scrape into the 8. That's their chance gone now. Unfortunately for them, they'd played so well in the last. You mentioned it, 6 weeks. Just lost to the Roosters last week. I thought bar a couple of errors, they probably deserved to win there as well. But unfortunately, because of the way they started the year, they put a bit of pressure on towards the back end, and I think the gap's just a little bit too big for them now. So, they've definitely been better back half of the year, but yeah, there's a few issues that reared their head at the start of the year. They'll have to kind of suss before we kick off next year. But disappointing. That's a pretty flattening result given that everything was on the line.
I got to say, like, Leo Thompson has definitely improved, and if at his peak this year, I've gone, you know what, he's a decent signing, solid. But if this is the level at which he's going to hit on 800K a year, mate, that's a lot of money for.
It's overs. It's like, I've been his biggest fan all season. He's had moments where you've gone, okay, I can see it there, but consistently, it just hasn't been there.
Well, and it sounds harsh, but in the forward pack, he might be their fourth best player. So you've got Preston, Kikau, Max King. Salmon's probably been better than him this year.
Well, but based on form, there's no way you can put him in the top 3 anyway. That's for sure.
And it's just like, as an 800K signing, I had some Bulldogs fans when he was playing okay kind of message me and say, see, like, look here. It's like, mate, when you're on 800K, there shouldn't even be a question as to whether you're one of the better forwards on the in the field. You should be on par week in, week out with Preston and Kikau, not doing the same things, but each week, I mean, to be fair, you should be like Max King's probably been better than him this year.
He has been.
Definitely.
So
as a whole throughout the season, he has been. I think the other thing that's really telling with Leo Thompson, unfortunately, and once again, I was a huge fan of him. I thought he was going to be enormous for them. Do they, like, when he came back into the side, did it look dramatically different?
It was a little bit better, but not dramatically, no.
It was for what? He'd be in the top 5 or 6 highest paid front row forwards in the game?
He'd be up there.
He'd be up there.
So that's my next question is like, it sounds super harsh, and I still believe this man is the man for the job because he's gone to 2 final series. So 1 poor year, 2 final series, another poor year. But with some of the big calls, I don't know whether it's Serraldo or someone else at that club, but someone needs to be under pressure heading into next year because unfortunately the calls that have been made haven't been the right ones at this stage unless they come out flying next year. But, I hate to tread old ground because we've spoken about it so many times, but forcing Hayward into 9, forcing Garwin into 7, and then Critter plays 3 or 4 good games at 6. Okay, he's our long-term 6. Now all of a sudden a couple games where you're going, oh, maybe he isn't a long-term 6. Connor Tracy, he's not the long-term fullback. Who's coming in to replace him? Like, they were on, I know everyone says this all the time, but they were on top of the table a year ago.
Yeah, and you had the back end of that season. You've now had an entire season to sort it out. Next year, it is the make or break year.
I think it is. I think whether it's someone, I guess, at the club undercutting Serraldo or it's Serraldo making these calls, someone has to be under pressure heading into next year because, like, it's one thing to always be sitting around 8th or, let's say, 6th to 10th, and then you make a few bad calls and you drop down to 13th or 14th. It's another thing to make some huge, audacious calls on top of the ladder and for them not to work out.
Well, also, though, I would argue that their 3 best players this year would have been probably Carraz, Crichton, and then Preston or Kikau to throw in there as your top 3.
I think Galvin's been good. I think he unfairly gets targeted. He didn't put 7 on his back.
Sorry, I'm not bagging Galvin by any means, but those 3 guys I just mentioned, they've all played busted throughout this year at different points. They've all been injured. I have my question marks over whether Leo Thompson fully recovered from his calf injury at the start of the year or not. Like, he's looked the whole time. Sorry, would you argue, like, Harry Hayes, Josh Curran, Jamin Salmon, Max King, like, have any of those guys not been better than him this year? Like, or could you not at least argue it when you weigh out the money that he's on versus what they're on?
And the minutes he's getting compared to the minutes they're getting.
Like, and to your point, Kemby, before about what they do, like, is Critter, like, what are you doing this preseason? Like,
when that came out, I could clearly remember me saying, I don't like the reactionary nature of it. It's like 3 good games at 6, and all of a sudden, oh no, he's our 6 going forward. It's like, what? So like with all the planning, everything that goes into salary caps, everything that goes into roster management, and all of a sudden you've only just now noticed that Critter's the long-term 6. And maybe that isn't the case. Maybe he isn't the long-term 6 and it's just a nothing report. But the problem is, what do you do next year?
That's what I'm saying. Like
because they've said Galvin's our 7. They've said that.
I still don't mind. Like, if that's the plan that they're sticking with, and however they got there, if that is the plan and they go into a full preseason, he's the 6, they're going to live or die by that. Like, fair enough. Like, I'm actually excited to see how that plays out if that's the case. But like, at the same time, you got question marks over Connor Tracy. Could you not play Critter at fullback potentially? See how that goes. Like, you got Volkman there, who's linked to the Super League over at Para. Like, there's a lot of ways you could go about it because I know you got Mitch Woods there and you got you got Conti as well, but they're both 7s, aren't they? And they're also both either injured or super young. They're not the answer, at least yet. Like, Yeah, I
Look,
don't know.
even if I'm okay with Critter, them having a crack with Critter being 6, a full preseason, if there's one guy that can do it, it's Critter. He's incredible. He's absolutely amazing. Player, person, all that. But then I still have the question around the spine of the 9 and the fullback. You know, like you've got Freddie Lussick coming in. I assume he's going to be.
He'll start at 9.
He'll start at 9.
1000%, yeah.
He's been solid at Penrith, but like, you know, that's in an incredible system. Is that system as strong as the Bulldogs one?
Sorry, did you say Freddie Lussick will 100% start at 9?
I've got no doubt. Like,
Surely
brained
he's
it.
brought to the club for that.
He's brained it at Penrith.
Dare you to bet on it?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I know. I get. I see what you're saying. I pick up what you're putting down. But at fullback, like, who have they gone and got?
So would you put Hayward over him?
Oh, I probably wouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised
If they do.
Yeah.
Hayward has to go back to being a lock. He's a bloody good lock. And I actually think he's been hard done by being forced to play this 9 role because it just hasn't. He's had a couple of good games this year, but just
Even that though can be like obviously Josh Curran leaves, so there's a spot on the bench that frees up. But I think Jamin Salmon's been pretty good this year. He's been one of their best forwards in my opinion, and he's also played most games.
When Hayward was playing lock off the bench, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I don't understand why you don't just start him at lock, or at the very least, you know, first 20 minutes a bigger body, and then you bring Hayward on for the 60-minute mark, or for the 60 minutes. But then I have to ask, okay, who's the fullback next year? Who have they recruited that can be the fullback next year that's jumping out? Is there a young fella coming through or anything, Roo?
No, not really there. No one jumping out of the ground. I mean,
They let go of Josh Papali'i.
let go of Papali'i. Cade Dykes is there, I think, but
He's had injury concerns too.
any
Like,
concerns.
but even if they do run with Crichton, and again, like I would actually be super excited to watch that play out. But I mentioned Conti before. I mentioned Mitch Woods. Like Critter's 25. So let's say you do run with him next year and you go okay, or it's respectable, or it looks okay. Like, what's that mean for those two? Because if Galvin's your 7, like the logical answer would be, well, let's play Galvin at 5'8", and then whoever's the 7 out of those two that comes through is your guy. But if Critter becomes your 6, or you're adamant that Galvin has to be your 7.
Yeah, it just
that mean?
yeah, that's what I mean. I think they've got themselves in a pretzel at the moment because and it all stems back to, for some reason, they don't want to play Galvin at 6 and say he's a 6. They don't want to put the 6 on his back and go, he's an out-and-out 6 and we have a conservative 7 at 7, or a traditional 7 at 7. I think that club's under massive pressure heading into next year, and I don't like when I look at recruitment. I'm not sure they've got the way out of it.
Yeah, there's been rumours linking Connor Vitano from the Newcastle Knights, young guy down there, which maybe they see him as the future. Boys, the obvious one for me is I'm watching Dane Laurie play lock every week for the Canberra Raiders. Surely.
Something.
But also,
Jai Gray can't get into a team at the moment.
Surely you're speaking
chase
to
him
him.
up. But like the other thing, everyone always talks about how last year's Sexton was the half that led them to the top of the table. The other one is fucking playing centre for them now. Like their 5'8" from last year until that point is now their centre. You know what I mean? Like when we're talking about who the 5'8" is, like, does that not still reek in terms of optics? Like that makes zero sense in itself.
Yeah, like I think they put on a good front as if like they're very locked and sure on things. I think they don't know. I genuinely, the fact that they went 3/4 of this year with Burton at 6, moved him to centre, then moved Critter to 6, and now they're saying, or at least it seems like Critter's the long-term 6. Like I don't think they know what the future. Like if you actually sat down multiple different people at that club and said, what do you think the 6 should be? I reckon you'd get. What do you think the spine should be? I reckon you'd get multiple different answers.
Yeah, even like the longer the season's gone, the re-emergence here and there of Jake Turpin as well, the hooker role.
I don't know. What do you reckon, doggies?
Doggies, spine.
Just forward spine. What do they do?
Well,
next
I
year?
thought, to be honest with you, the last 6 weeks has been a lot better. The start of the year, I thought there was all those questions. I wasn't sold on a lot of players playing out of position, but all right, they were disappointing on the weekend here. Week prior, they lost to the now top of the ladder team by 2. Like, I don't know that it's obviously this season's probably done now, but you know, if you take the back half of the year, felt like they kind of been building, you know, something was starting to gel, starting to work a little bit. Don't know. The halves thing's still probably the biggest question mark for me. They do need. I feel they probably need to have a think about another option at fullback as well. They've thrown up Kiraz. He's played a little bit there as well from time to time. There's been some pretty left field suggestions over the last week or so. Someone even was it?
Rennie said
Galvin. At fullback.
Lock or fullback. I
play him at six.
Six.
Yeah.
Six.
Anyway.
Yeah. Look, they have been much better. There's no denying that. But in saying that, like they were 18-8 up against the Roosters and just completely botched that game. Then you look at that run that they've kind of gone on. Okay, they had a 6-game good run. Like we're not talking about a team that's happy to make the 8. We're talking about a team that was leading the comp last year. And I just, look, maybe it's injuries. I'm not sure, but I'm a little bit concerned heading into next year that, is their spine Freddie Lussick, Crichton, Galvin, and is it Tracy at fullback? Is that their spine? That's a makeshift spine.
But
I mean, even Freddie Lussick wasn't out 9 before he went to the Warriors.
I think whatever they decide to pick, though, like you can't. The way that and I understand there's been injuries, but again, like you're making guys play hurt anyway. You can't mess around with it anywhere near as much as what they have in the last 2 seasons because it's just cost them so dearly.
Okay, on to the next game. The Raiders defeat the Sharkies 24-20. Oh, man. And it looks like Trindle, he should be about to play again this year, but he went off injured, obviously, with looked like a dislocated shoulder anyway. Sharkies, Oh, man. They just, play incredibly well against all these great sides, and then they get against 2 sides that are out of the 8, and they just shit the bed.
just as they convince you to believe.
Oh, look, I'm still on them, but far out, bro, far out. Last game, I just kept waiting for them to just turn. I will say they got some fucking tough calls against them. I thought that was definitely a try by Mulatalo. My argument would be the ball's angled like that. It looks already like it's on the line, but if it's not, where do you reckon the rest of the ball is sitting? Surely it is on the line. But if you say that's a 50-50 call, okay. The Nico Hines knock on, that's outrageous. Game on the line, and you just call in a knock on willy-nilly. What? That's fucking outrageous that got called a knock on.
Would you guys have given the Mulatalo one a try?
I would have given it.
Yeah, I think I would have too.
Was it because it went up, no try?
It went up, no try. Yeah.
But I still think there was enough evidence to suggest it was a try.
I'd love to know what the the refs review all their games. I'd love to know what the feedback is in that moment where live. I thought it was definitely a try.
This is a problem that we're having at the moment in regards to reffing and administration, whatever. Is sometimes we hide behind our rules. So you know what they'll say to you? Not enough evidence, and then you'll go and watch another one where there isn't much evidence, but they overturn it anyway.
I'm talking about the on-field ref, Kempy. So when they see it in the moment, I thought, from what I understood, the prompts they've been given now is give the try if it's probably a try, if the ball looks like it's on the line, which it definitely live. You'd struggle to find someone who said it looked short. It definitely looked like a try on first glance. Give the try. We will review it while you set up for the kick. That's normally how we see it play out, and then you'll see it get overturned if it has to. Why there in that moment is that we'll send it up no try. You know what I mean?
Well, it's his opinion, I guess. I
don't want referees just sending up as try for the sake of sending try.
If you don't think it's a try, don't send it up.
You've still got to have the power to make the call as you see it.
I agree, but he's probably the only guy watching the game that thought that on first glance. I know he's the guy out there.
He had the best angle, I guess. Look, I just think whatever you see, you send it up. I don't think he intentionally sent it up as no try, knowing that it was a try.
I agree, but I just think that, in reality, that decision did decide the game in the end.
I just think, they pick and choose when they use overwhelming evidence. They pick. Sometimes it needs overwhelming evidence, and then we'll watch something that takes 7 replays, 10 replays to find out whether it was a try or not, and they'll go, yeah, it was a try. I was like, so you're telling me something that took 10 replays to figure out? You're telling me that's enough evidence to overturn, but it took you 10 replays to figure it out? But look, it is what it is. They definitely got stiffed, but they also, that wasn't the reason why they lost. They lost because they just became complacent. I know Trindle went off, but they just got complacent. I just feel like they're rolling into these games thinking, all right, we'll get in the grind and we'll work it out. And then they just have a couple of lapses of concentration. Then all of a sudden, boom, oh my God, we're behind by 12 or whatever. Really disappointing.
Yeah, and I think the reality is too, the Will Kennedy try, I think it was, that was essentially put in their lap as well. KO Weeks knocked that ball on. That's a 1 in 100 try in the NRL.
And fell over.
And fell over.
The likelihood of that is,
that's It's out of my highlights reel. So as much as they were stiff, like they might have, I still don't think they did everything they could. I didn't think that. I don't know. Like he's had a great few months, but I thought that without Trindle, I thought Nico sort of struggled out there to control this side.
Yeah.
But I also do think as well, from a coaching point of view, with these 6-man benches, how do you not have another ball player sitting on the bench?
Yeah, that is a bit of an oversight for sure. And you're defending Brayley at 3 and Puru in the middle.
Yeah.
That is definitely an oversight. Maybe there's injured. I don't know. Injured, then you don't want to put a real young rookie on there.
Potentially, but it's like I find that bizarre that in the era of 6-man benches, you don't have a ball player sitting there.
We'll say before Trindle went off.
Or even like another hooker. So then, okay, maybe Brayley can cover that spot.
There, We'll say that try that Trindle scored was fucking brilliant. If you go back and watch that again, what he does is he hides behind the ruck so that KO Weeks doesn't know which side to go. And then he swings all the way around behind and pops up out the back and then puts that kick in. Absolutely brilliant. Whereas if he just sits behind where he's supposed to sit, KO Weeks goes, I'm going this side. Hiding behind the ruck like that and then putting a grubber through, like that lives up to his name, Tricky Trindle, because that was freaking phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant from Trindle. With the Raiders, it's such a fucking Raiders win, isn't it? It's just I just want to fucking piss someone off, the Raiders. I just want to give it to some fans that they're flying high, their season's going well. Let's fucking be a fly in the ointment. Let's ruin their day, because that's what they did. They just went up there and ruined the day of the Sharkies. I thought Tarpanier was phenomenal. I thought their forward pack were really good. Then they really struggled to go with the physical nature of the forward pack.
Just quickly too, the halfback, he did play reserve grade. Oof. And I guess this is the part of the balance with these 6-man benches. Do you want guys sitting on the bench for X amount of weeks without playing any footy, or do they go and play cup? But just when you're playing for a top four spot, I think you've just got
At this time of year too, if they have played a bit of reserve grade, surely you just go, sorry, brah, like.
We need you.
What are the Jets coming?
Fourth in cup.
But I mean, NRL's priority over. So I just think.
Yeah. It is a top 6 in cup, to be fair. So Jets won on the weekend. So that maybe puts them into finals. But how can the Sharkies not have the NRL as the absolute priority, even if it means that maybe you leave the cup team short?
I'm sure they do. They probably just
maybe there was
about not having injuries. I mean,
also like maybe he hadn't been playing because he was injured or something like that. He's got not much game time, and you could make the argument from the Sharkies' perspective. Yeah, we need him on the 6-man bench, but also, what if Hines goes down? We need him getting game time under his belt too. So it's a tough balance. Like if someone goes, like for example, right now, if he's got a lot of game time under his belt, he just comes straight in to replace Trindle. Whereas if he's been sitting on the 6-man bench for the last 6 weeks, is he rusty right now?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like he has played every game since round 18. Like I just
I'm
when
with
you're
you.
a team playing for a top 4 spot and you have the ability to be able to have a ball player sitting on that bench, and you know you're only carrying 2.
If he's been playing since round 18 to New South Wales Cup,
won their last 3 games in a row with him at halfback, scored 2 tries in 2 weeks. Like I think it's. And whilst I don't think Nico handled this game overly well once he went off, I don't think they did him any favours by playing the other Puru as almost like a lock playing on the left edge.
But also, like, the thing I thought was crazy about the way they handled that was these guys were spoken for years about if they can find this dynamic, they could be anything, right? And then they do find the dynamic. Like, I think the biggest thing that's going to hurt them out of this game, like with Trindle getting injured, Trindle and Hines are both in the top 5 for try assists across the NRL this year. So you expect him the whole year to play where I would argue that for most of it, Trindle's been the dominant guy in terms of creating. And then it's like, actually, Nico, we're going to give you a lock forward. Do your best. Like,
I mean, you saw it at the end there. Like Hines was running around with his head cut off, trying to organise everything. He was like, "Fuck, I do think that's where Will Kennedy needs to step up to and just go, "Fucking, I'll help you out a bit here." Seems like Will Kennedy not much of a known talker, but I feel like that's an area where he needs to go. All right, like I'm a decent ball player. I need to take some pressure off Hines there, because he was running around crazy trying to organise his team.
It just seems like such a bizarre decision as well, as far as the bench, after you've spent the last 2 years carrying Atkinson and hardly ever using him.
It's fair.
Like now when you've got 6 and you can carry that guy, you don't.
Yeah, also just to have someone who can go on and play. Like even like it's fair enough to expect that Nico Hines, like he's a Dally M7. Even if you could expect him to sort of become the main guy when Trindle goes off. To have someone play second fiddle just makes perfect sense. The other concerning thing out of this game for the Sharks, though, I don't think like losing to the Raiders is the biggest deal, but there were certain things because like the Raiders were really brave, but like you had Owen Paddy score through the front door, Tarpanay score through the front door. Like in the games where we've watched the Sharks over the last month or so, I'm going, fuck that, they're the real deal. They haven't been letting in tries like that through the front door.
I will say, and we'll get to it later in regards to the Mitch Moses call. On the video ref, I hear the video ref going. I think it was as Owen Paddy's going for the try. He gets hit in the head, and the video ref goes clearing contact to the head because Owen Paddy ducks his head. And I was like, just another example. We don't always call contact to the head. Like we pick and choose when we want to say it's incidental and not incidental. And then there's also, we'll get to it, but there's also the knee that Kalen Ponga put into Fermore's head after his try. Anyway.
Well, that's the other thing as well, and we'll get to it with the Parramatta game, but let's say, hypothetically, Parramatta didn't have any challenges left. We don't look at that.
No way.
Nothing ever happens.
What's the alternative there outside of pulling out?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Yeah, but you're right. Like in the front door, look, they were missing. AFB missed this game, didn't he?
Yep.
So there is that, but I don't think there's much excuse. I will say, I mean, the Raiders did complete at 89%.
Yeah.
Fucking hell,
They
bro.
were great. Yeah, so
It's like, even though I'm not excusing it, it's still like the Raiders played pretty fucking good. And if you look at their last 10 games, they actually would be in the 8, the Raiders at the moment. So, look, I mean, goes without saying, freaking massive game next week for the Sharkies. Massive game. Outside of that, I thought, Iro made quite a few errors, ball running was incredible. They had 28 runs, 248 metres, 82 post contact. I mean, their back through got a mountain load of work. It's like really good back stats. Kafusi 103 metres, Colhoun 142. Yeah, I mean, this game was there to win. It really was. Like, it's not like I'm looking at these stats going, oh, fuck, they all their forward pack ran for 60 metres or something like that. Onto the Raiders quickly. Yeah, look, really, really good stuff. Like we look at a lot of some of these other teams that aren't playing for finals footy anymore, and they kind of like they just don't turn up and have a red hot crack like the Raiders. This shows good culture. This shows a team that's willing to have a crack regardless of whether they're in finals or not.
100%. And also, and I know this was their own decision, but Corey Horsburgh didn't play in this game. He's played 60, 65 minutes every single week. They lost Morgan Smithies after 4 minutes. So as much as we're feeling sorry for the Sharkies, the Raiders didn't have everything go their way as well. Boys, I thought Joey Taps was fucking unreal in this game. Enormous.
Mate, he's such a leader. He truly is just, when dog work needs to get done, he's smiling while he's doing it. He is one of the rare forwards that he wants to be in the trenches nearly every week. He loves it, and he wins it most occasions. What a leader he is. He is just a great leader. And like, it's all trickled down. Like, the Raiders haven't gone great this year, but can anyone question their culture as a club? Like, they're a bloody good club culturally. I thought he was phenomenal too, mate. I thought he was phenomenal.
Yeah, I know that Raiders fans love him dearly and they appreciate him, but I think he's the most underappreciated captain in the NRL. Like, I think even with clubs like the Bulldogs, everyone's got an appreciation for someone like a Stephen Crichton, like the leadership he brings and I guess the character that he is. I think if Tarpanay was anywhere that, like, if he was at a Sydney club or if he was, say, the captain of the Broncos, like, I think he'd be so much more of a high-profile figure.
Yep.
In the way he leads that side. I do think though, like, I threw it up a couple of weeks ago. How would Raiders fans be feeling? Because there's no doubt, like, some of the developments this year of their young guys, Sanders obviously being the main one, but even like Owen Paddy, it's so exciting for the future. But you see a game like this and you're like, fuck, surely we were the minor premiers last year. We put on a performance like that. Like, I watched that last 20 minutes of that game thinking, fuck, the Sharks are immoral to get over here and steal this. They just found a way to hold on. Like, I think it is a little bit disappointing. As good as, like, they've been and it's exciting what lies ahead for the future, I do think there's a very real world. I know mathematically they still can, but they could be coming 6th right now had they just had a couple of slightly better games.
What do you think of the Raiders, mate?
Yeah, I mean, gritty. And I kind of expected them to bounce back after obviously what happened the week before. Ricky made some pretty big calls, didn't end well with Big Red, but just got the sense that it was going to be one of those weeks where he went back, gave him a bit of a bake, does what Ricky does, and fired him up to respond the week after, and they did it well. They're a good team. I'm with you, Tommy. A few more results. They've had a lot of close games this year. A couple more of them go their way. They're probably in the finals. But I think this year, if I'm a Raiders fan, like, the fact that this very young spine has got a chance to play together so often and really kind of work themselves out back end of the year has been really strong. There's some good signs there for next year. But, gritty stuff and a good bounce back after the week before.
I will say KO Weeks looks injured. He only ran for 71 metres. I think he might be carrying an injury because, that's so uncharacteristic for him to get through so little work. Okay, let's go to the next game, boys.
No, I think I was just going to mention on that one quickly.
A piss break?
No. That ball that Ethan Strange threw, I haven't seen that from him before.
Crazy.
No, he's
He's a ball runner, he's dynamic, all that sort of stuff. But if I was a Raiders fan seeing that, that would have me up and about.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, on to the Eels versus the Cowboys. Eels defeat the Cowboys 32-30. And it's our can't miss moment. Let's just get into the controversial call. The Moses head high. Oh, God. Listen, I understand the immediate reaction to that from some fans is, oh, come on, contact to the head has been a penalty for years now. No, it's not contact to the head is not a penalty every single time there's contact to the head. There has been plenty of occasions where a video ref or a ref will say incidental. How often do we watch players stay down because they got hit in the head? A replay will be shown and the video ref will say incidental, or a replay will be shown and the video ref will probably just radio down to the ref saying no issue. I don't agree with the idea that we've always just been any contact to the head, it's a penalty. I think we have to have some common sense. The ball had already been knocked on. He got straight up from it as soon as he dropped the ball and got hit in the face, he got straight up and started pointing to his face. So clearly the contact wasn't that dramatic. I think we've got to have some common sense. When you're that low on the ground and you've already knocked the ball on, surely we use contact was incidental. I think it was a terrible call. And as I said, people are going to say, oh, contact there is a penalty. I can guarantee you could go through that game and sit there and find multiple times where there's been contact to the head and it's been let go. I'll give you two examples of just that weekend. What I spoke about before, the Raiders versus the Sharkies, on Paddy ducks his head and the video ref says contact to the head, but it's cleared because he's ducking his head. Then you've got Kalen Ponga sliding in and hitting Bo Firma with the knee to the head. We let that go. That wasn't 8-point. But on this occasion, where everyone can we all know what's happening, guys. Clearly Moses knows that he's got a way to a penalty here, so he's going to play for it, which is fine. That's gamesmanship. Surely we have some common sense here and go, you know what? He knocked the ball on. Yeah, there's a bit of contact, but you know what? We let contact go all the time. That's incidental. We're going to let that go.
Occasionally in rugby league, I think the best way to sort things out is the pub test.
My God.
This wouldn't have passed.
Not at all. Not at all. And the ball was already knocked on. The play was dead, essentially. Now, I know it's not technically dead because I could pick it up and run away, but it's essentially dead, the play. Come on.
If he knocks on and he's standing upright and he gets head high, sure.
Yeah, sure. 100%. On the ground.
That's shoelace height, miss me.
And he's all Chester is trying to do is because the ball comes out, he's trying to hit the ball and he hits him as he's on the ground. Have some common sense here. Was anyone ever going to be sitting there going, that's a terrible call. He should have been given a penalty. No one would be, no reasonable person would be saying that, because then what you're saying is any time there is ever contact to the head, doesn't matter what happens, it's a penalty. We'd be getting penalties essentially one a set if that was the case. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we all understand the whole player welfare thing, protecting the head, all that. And sometimes you'll see at games or on replays where a player does get hit in the head and they stay down, genuinely because they've been whacked in the head by some big, strong dude who's an NRL player. And sometimes you'll see fans, get up. And I think most of the time, you can tell when a player is genuinely hurt by something versus they're playing for it. The most frustrating thing about this is, you mentioned the one before with Owen Paddy. You could have, and they say, he ducks his head so we clear it. You could have fit a human being between where his head was and where Moses' head was. Yeah. There's no alternative there for Chester outside of pulling out. And I just think, you can't blame Mitch Moses for doing it because he knows he's going to get the result there. I think the best answer to stopping stuff like that is, okay, you want to play for the penalty and the challenge? You're HIA'd. 15 minutes.
If the contact was so significant that you're asking for a penalty, then it's a HIA.
As it should be, because then if it is genuine, like some of the ones I said before, we're doing the right thing by the player. We're still checking their head. But also, if he wants to play for that penalty and he gets the 2 points, now you've got to leave your team for 15 minutes without a 7. So then you got to weigh up, is that worth the 2 points?
Which you do see sometimes. I think that happened to Dave Fifita on the weekend. He got tackled hard and he tried to stay down for a penalty.
Which should happen.
It should happen. That's the reality of it. Yeah. It's a punt you take.
In rugby league, you're going to get hit in the head. sorry to break it to you, bad things happen on a rugby league field. That's why we love it, because they're gladiators out there. They put their bodies on the line. And so this idea that we can clean the game up so much you'll never have any contact to the head, and if there is contact, it's going to be a penalty, is impossible. It will never, ever, ever happen. I thought this was so ridiculous. And like, you look at the Cowboys now, like it does change things for them. Like they could fall out of the 8. Now it's, I think they'll still make it, but you'd be fuming if you're the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm fuming. What do you think, mate? What do you think is a penalty? What do you think?
I completely agree with it. If you play for penalty and whether you get it or you don't get it, go and get your HIA because there seems to be a lot of like milking, all that sort of stuff happening at the moment. So if that's going to stamp it out, I think that's a good thing for the game. I thought it was just sort of incidental contact. I don't think it was deserved to be penalised. So that's sort of my position on it. But I do get frustrated with, and there's a few repeat offenders of players who kind of play for them and try to influence the decision. So if that's going to stop that a little bit, I reckon, bring it on.
Like you go to the next game on Sunday, so a Dragons forward gets absolutely walloped in the head and stays down. So the video ref had time to quickly look at it and go, doesn't get the penalty. Like how, and he gets absolutely jammed in the head. We're talking blood, everything. How is that? It was only 2 games before or whatever where a game was decided, but now all of a sudden we're picking and choosing when it is okay to get contact to the head.
There was another player this weekend on Saturday or Sunday that also got hit high, and then there was no penalty. They looked at it, came off, but then he had to go off for a HIA a few minutes later.
Well, you said that happen.
I see it all the time, but it happened again
Atkinson,
this weekend.
I don't know if he had a HIA, but he got head high. I think Fainu got put on a report later on.
So if we're willing to protect the head so much as we should be, when a player, if the ref misses it and the bunker misses it, but we're like, you know what, it was high, they got hit in the head, let's get him off. When a player's clearly fine and they've clearly played for the penalty, HIA as well. Because then, as you said before, Kemby, if the counter argument for people is, contact to the head, it's always a penalty. Always make it an HIA then.
Yeah,
just wait.
I guarantee you, like, if you stay down for a second, you're basically guaranteeing yourself HIA. You'll see bloke. You're already seeing blokes. They'll pop up sometimes when they realise, oh shit, like this could be me off for 15 minutes.
If the game was 32-30, which respectfully, bit of a shootout, are you going to take the 2 as a halfback and leave your team without your 7 for 6 minutes? Are you confident enough that your team will close out the game that you'll stay down there if you know you're going to get HIA? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it's really disappointing that was the decider. And look, I'm not excusing the way the Cowboys played. Like they weren't great, but I just think that we have to find some consistency here. There's so many other occasions where we say the contact was incidental or whatever reason, and like if you want to be fully when someone's running the ball, if you want to be very harsh on it, like if they're running the ball and there's contact to the head, I don't fully agree with it because I think you'd find there's a lot of contact to the head that we let go. But it's one thing giving the penalty away for a soft head high whilst they're running the ball. When a bloke is falling to the ground and he's skidding along the ground, that surely you sit there and say, okay, it's rugby league. Sometimes you get contact to the head. It's incidental. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, in regards to the game, with all that being said, I think the Eels should be super proud with how they played. Like, I think they were gutsy as.
I forgot which game we were talking about there for a second. Got so deep then. Yeah.
I think they were gutsy. I think they were super gutsy. They got nothing to play for. They still have injuries in their side, and they managed to be in the fight to, when they're getting a call, go their way to take advantage of it. So I'm actually quite happy. I know it's a shootout and it's 32-30. So, but look, where they're at with how their season's been, I think they should be pretty stoked with that win.
Love what we saw from Twiddle, the fullback. He's a goer, obviously going over to the Perth Bears. Keen to watch him over there. Moment of the game though, boys. Junior.
Oh my God.
Seed.
Wow. I mean, there are very few front rowers that could throw that pass in the history of the game. That's the biggest front row pass I've ever seen in my life.
There's very few front rowers that, could pass that, but then there's even less that would be willing to, in a game, do it.
Mental. Absolutely mental, that pass. And probably, last couple of years, he's been more of a kind of up and down player, but there was a period there where his ball playing was a key to the Eels' success. He was almost like a ball playing front row /13. That was an incredible pass. Outside of maybe AFB,
Who else springs to mind?
I've never seen AFB throw anywhere near.
I've never seen it either, but I'd be willing to bet if there was anyone like Aaron Clark, I'd classify as a 13. AFB is probably the only other front row where I'd be like,
maybe
he could do it.
Yeah.
I don't, like, am I missing someone from?
Because Junior Paulo's done that.
Is he waiting for us to say Tom Jaeger? Is that what he's doing here?
Boys, very silly.
See, I've seen Junior throw passes like not as long, but cut out passes before for tries. Like
Yes.
he's got that in his duffel. But as I said, I thought the Eels were great. Look, I want to talk about my boy Brian Kelly. You know, when he signed from the Titans, I've always said like this guy is so talented, and he could be a really, really good signing. And I think that by moving him to the wing, he has completely unlocked himself. And if you were looking at the last 10 rounds, I don't know if you'd give him Dally M Winger of the Year on one of the wings, but I tell you what, you'd probably put him in the top tier of form of wingers in the last, I'll say 5 rounds. The last 5 rounds, he's been in the top form of wingers in my opinion.
Yeah, he's been fantastic of late for most of the season as well, to be fair. He's really... Yeah, I sort of... Watching up at the Titans, we all knew he had talent. I probably didn't expect Wing to have this much influence on him, though. I still thought he'd probably end up back in the centres and whatnot, but he's made a real fist of it. I can't see him leaving that spot. The other one that I thought was really good again, boys, Sam Rani. Talk about guys coming of age. Holy hell.
I think he's on a minimum contract right now. I reckon you could get 400K on the open market.
Yeah.
Maybe 500 at a lower club. I think he is so good. He's so underrated and so consistent.
Well, if Perth signed him tomorrow, I'd go, yeah, fuck, good on you.
Yeah,
That's
it was
what you
like-
get. You're playing on the up.
Yeah, 450, 500, 550, 3-year deal. I'll be okay with that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's been phenomenal. Matter of fact, I'd go as far to say as he'd be in the running for their player of the year when you think about it. Who else? Jack Williams?
Jack
Yeah,
Williams,
Jack.
Sam Rani, probably Brian Kelly, to be fair. Yeah.
Like, it genuinely be in the running for player of the year at the moment for the Eels.
Yeah.
Ogden for a period was great, but
The other one as well, yeah. Volkman, I hope he's not playing in the Super League this time next year.
surely they're going to re-sign him. Surely.
Oh, well, if not, someone else has to.
He's still only like 24 or something, isn't he?
He's 20, he's 24. Surely, and I think there's a good chance that he does spend another 12 months at the Eels. I reckon based on what he's done this year, like every win that they've had since he came into the side, he's the only half that's been there the whole time. Like, surely he's sort of well within his rights now to go, fuck, like, I don't want to sit in reserve grade for another 12 months. Like, I've carried this side through all the injuries and when Moses was in and out, mainly out during Origin, like, fuck, like, I reckon he's well within his rights. And I look around the comp, and I mentioned it before, but like Bulldogs are really unclear on who their 5'8" is at the moment, or we're unclear on it. You got South, who Cody's getting older. Like, there's enough clubs around where like they could do a lot worse than to bring him into the system.
I mean, even at every club needs a backup half.
Oh yeah,
Like every squad needs it. Every squad needs it. So even if he's a career 300 grander as a backup half, you could do much worse.
you do so much worse. Like even somewhere like the Dolphins, I know they got George Williams coming next year, and I know over in the Super League they reckon he's more of a 6. But like, I would argue Volkman's closer to Nicaragua's playing style than George Williams is from what we've seen.
You've
in the
even got,
NRL.
like, if you look up at the North Queensland Cowboys next year, like with Purdue going, he'll be the fullback. Like, that's sort of, you've then only got Did and Jake Clifford. Did and goes and plays Origin during the year. Like, I think it'd be a good fit up there. Like, I'll be very disappointed if he's playing for the fucking Leopards or something next year.
But your Tigers, speaking of Leopards, like,
Yeah.
I know Avarilla's coming, but
The Leopards got a big year next year, to be honest. So if he goes there, credit to him. Who do you reckon is the Eels' top try scorer this season?
Jack Williams.
Fox.
Talon
TDS.
Silva. He's got 10 tries. The Fox has got 7. Sam Rani's got 6.
Mate. Okay, Talon Silva. He made our team of the week.
Yep.
This is the upside of Talon Silva. This is what you can get. It's just a matter of like, okay, this is how all the talent that he has where he can truly dictate a game, where he has such impact. How do we make it so it doesn't have to be like this every week? Just shorten the gap between this and the bad games. But with that aside, he was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He was electric. Obviously 2 tries. He tackled his backside off. Still missed some tackles, but it was just the energy in which he's playing with. And sometimes when you're in these positions as a club, you just need a young guy to go in there and have it just absolutely rip and tear. And that's exactly what he did. And it paid off this time. So really exciting. It's like, okay, we're seeing it now. Let's get around this point. Like, let's get some consistency. And look, he's young. Like, what is he, 21, 22 still? So he's super young. another preseason under his belt. Really, really good game from Talon De Silva.
Yeah, I think this is what you see of his high ceiling that he's got. It's interesting, like in this game, I reckon you had the two hookers with the highest ceiling and the lowest floor with him and Sonny Luke going head to head. Two guys that if you get them on their best days, they are unbelievable. But, geez, there's just a lot of stuff you got to deal with in between those days.
Yeah, but this was a good day. It was a bloody good day, and they don't win it without him. If he's not on the field, they absolutely don't win it. So he was outstanding. Okay, on to the Cowboys. We'll just be quick here, but just disappointing. I said there was some Cowboys fans that were a little bit frustrated that I said after the 82-point loss, that I think it will scar them, and I think that they'll probably still make the finals, but I don't know whether they'll be able to do something in finals. I think they're still recovering from that match. Really, like to leak 32 points against the Eels for a team where they were at before that massive loss, very concerning.
Yeah, very much so. I thought that when Ruben Cotter crashed over, the Cowboys could have potentially won this game by 20 points. I thought all the momentum was going their way, and in typical Cowboy fashion, they just set the Eels back into it immediately. I think Talon scored within a few minutes there, but that was the moment where I sort of thought, okay, this is when the Cowboys start to pull away here. But yeah, just once again conceding 32 points, and I know it's not in their worst category, but you got to remember as well, I think the Eels kicked 3 from 6 goals. Like this could have been much worse. It was 6 tries to 5.
I got to say as well, I don't understand why Jake Clifford isn't doing all the long kicking.
Yep.
Like he is arguably the biggest boot in the whole comp. Like he's got a massive, massive boot. And you've got Purdue kicking, you've got Scotty Drinkwater kicking. Look, I understand having a bit of mixing up a little bit to relieve pressure. But mate, Clifford should just be booming it down the field every chance he gets.
The lack of trust in Clifford, and this is coming from a guy that wouldn't have picked him at the start of the season, but he's put egg all over my face. I can't believe they don't lean into him.
It's so strange.
So strange.
Like if you said to me what should Clifford kicking meters be each game, I'd say anywhere from 500 to 700 meters a game.
Yep.
But they just for some reason, maybe it's
especially when Dearden's out.
Yeah, maybe it's his confidence, I guess. But I'd be setting my sets coming out of our own end would be getting to a point of the field where he can fucking belt the living daylights out of the ball. Strange.
Some cracking tries in this game. Obviously, the Jackson Purdue one was a really good individual effort, but the Tom Chester try, that last one when the Cowboys went sideline to sideline, the Braden Burns flick,
mate,
unreal try.
That's what they can give you. They can give you those incredible moments. Murray Talangi obviously leaving to Union. I've got to be honest. I've seen some people be like, oh, he's an all right player and hasn't really hit the heights that we would have thought. I was like,
mate, he's so underrated.
He's so underrated. Yeah. He's a gun. And I know he's been a little bit injured this year at times, but he still comes back. Every time he plays, he's running for 150 to 200 meters.
I remember even when Val left, I remember there was chat there from people about how, now you'll see the real Murray, Val sort of kept him afloat. I'm like, I also think people in general just don't realize, until you get in person with him, you don't realize how big
Massive.
he is. He is enormous.
Yeah. Surprised that this is a big loss for the Cowboys. He's a gun. The KO can't miss was obviously the Moses at High, the only place you can watch every game of every round with no ad breaks during plays. Fox League available on KO. Let's get to the next game. Warriors defeat the Broncos 40-6. We've already spoken about the Broncos quite at length in the code thingo. Warriors, you know what the scary thing here is in regards to, when you're looking at the Warriors and they're going up against a Broncos forward pack who, there's injuries, but they still have Payne Haas, Paddy Carrigan, Xavier Willison. I want to read you out this stat. This is how freaking dominant this Warriors forward pack is. 42 average set distance, 42 meters average set distance compared to 27 meters. So to put this in perspective, if the Broncos get the ball on their own goal try line, the average set, they wouldn't make it to their 30-meter line. That is complete and utter domination from this Warriors side. As I said, people try to hide behind this, they got all these injuries or whatever. Let me read you their starting pack. Xavier Willison, Payne Haas, Billy Walters, Jordan Ricky, Paddy Carrigan, and Jaden Hunt. That forward pack should not be getting dominated like that.
Nope.
But that's how dominant the Warriors forward pack is, and that's how ruthless this Warriors forward pack is. They had every right to go up to Suncorp and just be willy-nilly because they know they're going to beat them. They're so confident right now. They were ruthless. They didn't give the Broncos an inch. They are a premiership heavyweight, and I tell you what, when this forward pack gets rolling, good luck stopping them because they are on a whole other level at the moment.
Yeah, especially with Jackson Ford still to return at some point this year. Like, yeah, I mean, the only, probably the biggest talking point and probably the low light of the weekend for me, when Luke Metcalf hit that goal and he propped for that split second, terrible fucking scenes.
I've got to say, we spoke about it when it happened, but, that big signing at the Dragons, it's good if he stays fit, but I've always had my concerns about that signing at the Dragons around the fitness because they could have signed this guy on, was it a 3-year deal, $900K a year? Like, that's a concern for the Dragons, the fact that he cannot stay on the field. And unfortunately, his whole career, he hasn't been able to stay on the field.
Yeah, and it's why he didn't get into first grade earlier. I sat here for years talking to you about him, that how good he is, but he just couldn't get on the field.
And he still can't. So that's why when they signed Metcalf, I was at such a high, amount. I was just surprised because I'm like, you're paying a guy that much, you want him on the field quite a bit, and there is no evidence to suggest that he actually can stay on the field for long periods of time. And it sucks to say that because he is a gun. He's so freaking good. But he hasn't played a full season of footy.
What do the Warriors do from here with the number 7 jersey? Obviously, Tamara Martin's still out for a couple of weeks. Tanner Boyd obviously is out for the year as well. Luke Hanson's played a couple of games at some stage this year. Jet Cleary is playing halfback for the Cup team at the moment. There's been a bit of chat about him looking to maybe come back to Penrith as well. Do you reckon, is there a chance maybe we see them pull the trigger and he maybe gets a debut this weekend?
I think you go Hanson at 6, Harris Tavita at 7 initially.
Okay.
I think Harris Tavita he probably won't win Dally M 6 of the year, but he actually should be in the running. He actually should be in the running. His defense is phenomenal. Who did he absolutely jam? Come and jam, and was it Ezra maybe? I think Harris Tavita has been almost the unsung hero of the Warriors to a degree. Had a try assist. He's the one that's kept that jersey, so much so that if anyone was to drop out, it would have been Tomato Martin instead of him. I think you try him at 7. I think you try him and then you bring in Hanson because I think it's a lot of pressure to ask Jet Cleary with everything going on to come in and guide them to the back end of the season,
Yeah, fair. I'd probably go Jet, I think. I'd give him his opportunity. I mean, it's only going to be a 2 to 3 week job, right?
Yeah,
and Tomato Martin's going to come back in. So I'd be okay to see them go with Jet, see what he can do. Would you be confident with Chanel Harris Tavita at halfback?
I just look at that forward pack and say, you know what? You can get a lot done behind that forward pack,
Yeah, we were saying on, I think it was on my show with Sowie last week, like this Warriors side, they just toppled the Penrith Panthers, were all sort of sitting here last week and they're proper premiership contenders. Like, I can't think of another team in recent years that has been this competitive as far as being a proper premiership contender, and they've had 3 halfbacks.
Mental.
Like it's unheard of.
Webster take a bow. Like it is unbelievable what he's managed to do there at that club.
The other thing they could have done too is they could have played Chans at 6 to a peak. He comes back in at fullback, but I think they'll be without Chans after that.
Yeah, Chan's got a 2-week suspension, I think it is. Yeah,
2 weeks. Far off. I thought he would have got longer than that.
Yeah. I thought he should have got longer than that. Like, it's probably what you'd show. Like, we've had a lot of debate over the last few years around certain tackles and other hip jobs. It was a textbook hip job.
Yeah. But look, to be honest, it's not going to change. While she's not going to come back quicker, I'd rather the Warriors have more players for finals footy.
For sure.
So it is what it is. Yeah. Fuck, pretty bad though. Anyway, but yeah. So look, this Warriors side, like when they're on, they will bash the living daylights out of you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So the other thing with the Warriors, just heading into the back end of the season as well, they play the South Sydney Rabbitohs this week. If they win that, and let's say Penrith drop another game at some point, like if they get that home final, the Warriors play their last 2 games at home. They would then have finals week 1 at home.
So no travelling.
They don't have to travel until grand final day if they win all their games and they're at home. So it'll essentially be 5 or 6 weeks straight where the New Zealand Warriors do not get on a plane. I challenge you to find me a 6-week stretch in the history of the New Zealand Warriors where they haven't got on a plane.
Wow.
True.
That is good. That is so good. I thought Barnett was good. Just some of the quality of his work, like in contact in defence and wrapping balls up and turning blokes back so they get a slow play the ball. Obviously great in attack as well. Another guy I want to talk about, Khan Pereira. Well, he's just gone to a whole nother level at the top. And I think that if you wanted a measure of just how good this system is, just look at Khan Pereira. Like a guy that couldn't get into that Titan side, that was struggling, continued to struggle. He goes down to the Warriors, and another guy that I don't think he's a Dally M winger of the year, but he's been one of the better wingers since coming into this Warriors side. He's been outstanding.
Without a doubt, I think he'll get very close to playing Origin. So
Maybe, yep.
especially like coming off a bench and whatnot, just to be able to put on the fastest dude in the game if you have an injury or something, especially with the way the game's being played nowadays. Like he's still averaging a try per game throughout his career. It's insane.
Mental.
And this is the first good team he's played in.
Yeah.
He played 54 games for the Titans. He only won 18 of them. Scored 53 tries.
Incredible. Broncos quickly. Look, we already spoken about it. Super disappointing. Not much to say. Flat. They're clearly the playing group and the coach are clearly not seeing eye to eye. Incredibly disappointing year. If you want us to talk more about the Broncos, we spoke about it in the show. Okay, Knights v the Titans. Listen, we won't spend too long on the Titans. It was a great little comeback towards the end, but same problems still occur for the Titans. Disappointing start, and they fought a little bit back and they made the game competitive after being down. I think it was 16-0, which was good and admirable. But then the Knights just kicked away. But the Aspley Mazda service of the week, it's Fletcher Sharp. Like, this kid is an absolute superstar in the making. So the game was on the line and the Titans had kind of managed to fight their way back into it. And he just took the game by the scruff of the neck and said, I'm going to make something happen. Like, I'm not waiting for balls out the back. I'm not waiting to get to certain points on the field. Give me the ball. I'm going to run as hard and fast as I can. And my natural ability plus my eyes up footy is going to score us a try. And then that just took the game away from the Titans. And all it was a bloke saying, give me the ball, I'm going to score a try. Which you don't see in the NRL. You don't see it. How many times have Fletcher Sharp had these moments where he just said, give me the ball, I'm going to make something happen? And that was the end of the game. Fletcher Sharp is a star. His service, his support play service, I'd argue, is the best in the competition for a six by a mile. And so he is our service of the week. This is all brought to you by Ashley Mazda, guys. Follow LDC_01 on Instagram. If you need a car, give Lukey a message. He supports this show, guys, so support him. He's the best in the business. You will not regret working with him. Even if you're just talking about cars in general and you want some advice, he's the man. And a massive thank you to Aspley Mazda for supporting this show. If you need a car, give them a call as well. Mention Bloke. They'll take care of you. Fletcher Sharp, incredible.
Unbelievable. That try that he scored, picking up from dummy half. When you have a look at his stats from the weekend, he had 178 run meters from just 7 runs. It's like 25 meters per run. And like the try that he scored, like it was from halfway, that was a 50-meter run. So it's still 120 meters from 6 runs, essentially, like flying. Mate, as much as I was very negative on him when he was there, credit to Adam O'Brien. This is probably the one thing he maybe did get right, actually playing this guy in the halves. I remember when I first heard it in the preseason last year, I thought, this bloke's lost his marbles. He can't possibly do this.
Fair.
But Fletcher's been amazing, and I think that the new coach, Holbrook, has had a much bigger influence on the way he's played this position, but they're not revolutionising the position because there's not many guys that could do this, but they are showing you a different way of playing that 5'8" role that can be incredibly effective.
Absolutely. And their ability to spread out their own end and just, I'll always, whenever I was playing, anytime we would get them down in their end, I'd always be like, just please take 4 hit-ups. Because as a winger, especially coming out of our own end, it's just this like, just get put in this like weird position. Like on your line is a very clear-cut system that you use. It's like, boys, if the guy gets caught up on the lead, red, jam. If he doesn't, we up and slide. Or if we're on our line, we can't afford to slide, so we need to make sure we win the contact and get up in their faces. When they're coming out of our own end, the Knights just rely on teams going, we're going to slide, because they're too nervous of getting completely skinned out of their own end. And every time you slide coming out of your own end against the Knights, they get 30 meters. And all of a sudden, they don't have to go through all the shit hard work in the middle to get out of their own end. They're fucking at halfway, and you, in your head, you're thinking, I've done the right thing here. I slid, but I've just given them 20 meters. So it's like this weird kind of system not weird system. And as you said, it's not revolutionizing the system, but it's having confidence enough in your players' ball skills to say, we are confident we're not going to knock the ball on by spreading it out of our own end. And it is causing absolute havoc for teams. Like the amount of times they made line breaks on the weekend coming out of their own end, the Titans were just like, what do we do here? We're doing everything we can in the middle to put pressure on them, and they're just negating it by spreading the ball. How do you put pressure on a team with outside backs in defence? How can you?
Yeah.
You can jam in. What if they make a line break then and score? It's fucking, yeah. If you've got the confidence to play this footy, it's tough to defend against.
And I'll
Super
tell you,
tough.
like, I'm sure they would have played this style of footy regardless. But the other advantage for the Newcastle Knights this year is had an unbelievable amount of day games.
Yeah.
They very rarely play at night.
No, it's so true. And also, like, when they're throwing the ball to the winger, they're throwing it to a front rower because it's Dom Young and Greg Marju. So they're always winning the contact. They're always getting an extra 5 meters. It's a brilliant system. What do you think of the Knights, Tony Bomb?
I think I'm really excited to watch them play in the finals. I know most people had them sort of like in spoon contention, and it's similar to the Dolphins. Like, I think there's no pressure on them. Like, they're coming in. I think they've won games multiple different ways this year. Like, I think we knew with the players that they had, and we've wrapped Holbrook to no end as he deserves. But like, what he's been able to get out of this side in terms of their attack's been amazing. But you know, to lose both Dylans, they've had that start of the year a lot of time without KP as well. Like, there's been games where it's been like Phoenix Crossland's been your main guy and you've just had to tough it out. Fletcher Sharp stepped up. I think also cool to see Toby Winter come on in this one. I think him and Fletcher Hunt will probably fight it out for Gaggai's spot next year, would you reckon?
I don't
Yes.
I don't mind the look of Toby Winter. He moves well.
Good player, man. He's dominated the grades coming through.
Like that offload, it was a risky offload. It ended up in, Ponga passing between his feet, but that all started because of Winter's footwork before creating space to give him that line break.
Toby Winter's a big reason why they're happy to let Gaggai go.
Okay, I'm keen as to see him because he had a little cameo, but I liked the look.
Can play multiple positions too, sort of wing, centre, fullback. Very, very talented kid.
The other thing I wanted to ask you boys, there's been a lot of players across the comp this year that have had breakout seasons, but they'd played more than 5 games in years gone by. Like I was just looking at the WARs, your guys like Stower Smith, EIT, Sam Healy, for example, who like they've all played more than 5 games in years gone by. He's only played 9 games this year, but could you throw Francis Manu-Leilua up as a potential rookie of the year?
Yeah,
I was looking at the other side, like the Titans. Pascoe's probably going to go close to
Cooper Clark.
You got Cooper Clark there at
Sanders.
Melbourne.
Sanders. You know what? Francis Manu-Leilua was not a bad shout because he's been phenomenal. It's a tough one this year. It's more of a question than years gone past where it's pretty clear.
Like, what do you value more? Like Sanders, obviously, he's a 7, and like he's had to be the main guy for a lot of it. But then, like, if you value how your team's gone, like Manu-Leilua's team's probably finished the highest out of all of them.
Well, speaking of Manu-Leilua, he's had these incredible weeks, and then McEwen comes out and rips. On the other edge, there's all this been talk about Francis, and then McEwen comes out, 16 runs, 160 metres, 51 post contact, 5 tackle breaks, a line break, 39 tackles, no errors. Like, bro, it's good.
What's the what's the rule with rookie of the year? How many games? Is it 4? 5.
4.
Yeah.
Pretty
See,
sure it's
I had
4.
4 in my mind as well.
I just googled it. It was it said 5, but
Because Sanders has played 4 games before this
I
year.
swear it used to be 4.
I think you reckon it was 5 there?
when I googled it, said 5. But
I'll tell you the other thing with the Newcastle Knights is going to make them very interesting. And we keep talking about these teams that are in the bottom of the top 8, sort of going South Sydney, Dolphins, Cowboys. You wouldn't want to play them. If you play the Newcastle Knights finals week 1, which I reckon will be a home game, they've got the bye in round 27. Whoever you are, and whether you are the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the Bunnies, whoever you are, you've got weaknesses, and you're going to give this coach 2 weeks to prepare for you.
You want to hope it's on a dewy, wet night.
Yep.
Because if it's a day game and they're rested and it works for them,
If they get you the Sunday afternoon in Newcastle or the Saturday 5:30, good luck.
they will know. Isn't that when they play those games?
Well, I think the Sunday 4 o'clock game, that usually goes to the teams at the top, doesn't it?
I thought it's always an
I can't remember.
elimination on Sunday. I thought the main game Saturday night they
Then
make
they
an
get the longer
elimination.
turnaround. Yeah, no, you're right, actually. Yeah, so it probably will be Sunday afternoon.
It's fewer than 5. So I think if you've played 4, you can still get it. 5, you can't.
Okay.
So Sanders would be eligible.
Look, Titans, there's not much to talk about, to be honest. Disappointing game. Good comeback towards the end, but like, how many times have we spoken about that? So apologies, Titans fans, but we've got to move on because we've been going for quite a while. It is what it is. Dragons defeat the West Tigers 24-22. I'll just go straight to you, Amy. Thoughts on this game, mate?
Yeah, tough one. Very clunky and annoying games for the Tigers. They did come home with a little bit of a wet sail, but it was a bit of a tough watch for the Tigers. A lot of probably opportunity, but just 5th tackle options. I don't know what the plan is there. There's never a plan that just put it on a boot, kick, give me something. Don't throw 3 or 4 dummies, sidestep, and then throw it to a front rower, which we did on 4 or 5 occasions.
Didn't work though, did it?
How hard is it to stick to something? Unfortunately, it's been an ongoing issue for us. We've had a lot of ball, and our attack just hasn't clicked. It's been an issue for quite a while now. So we've got to have a look at some stuff there. I do wonder if we're reaching a bit of a point of the year where we do have some good, talented playmakers. Do you just play them now for the rest of the year? That said, I think the run homes like Roosters, someone, and the Panthers. Roosters, Cowboys in Townsville, and the Panthers. So that's the trade-off. Do you want to throw these guys to the wolves a little bit, or do you want to protect? I don't know. It's a tough one, but clearly what we're doing is, I don't know. This is a game you'd probably hope that you'd win against the bottom of the ladder side. Yes, they've been better in the last couple of weeks, the Dragons, but ongoing, consistent issues that we haven't been able to solve.
I tell you the thing that frustrated me with the Tigers, and I agree with you, mate. I thought some of your sets were all over the place. I would argue the last 2 weeks they had a bye. Has it been the quietest 2 weeks in West Tigers history, off the back of probably the loudest?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just all eyes on this game against the Dragons, and I still thought they were very disappointing.
Well, what I don't get is like, Luai didn't play well either, so I'm not just singling out Dewey, but like, you're talking about end of sets, and Dewey wants desperately to be the 7. It's his team. Why isn't he setting the setup to finish it correctly? Like, I got to say, like, and it's going to sound harsh, but unfortunately, when you walk out on the team, and the reason is because of standards, that last line break by Fainu, and Dewey's on his inside, and Dewey decides not to chase hard. And I know people say, you're setting up for the next play. Listen, the game is on the line. You're not setting up for any next play. You are being there for an inside pass of Fainu. Like, I just think that this idea that the sitting out was purely for standards, if you're going to make that stance, you better be chasing on the inside when your team makes a line break, at the very least. And unfortunately, not only is Luai playing poorly, I don't think Dewey's been great since coming back. I know he had that good 10 minutes in the back end of the game against the Eels, but that wasn't great. I think their standards have dropped massively in defence. I think their forward pack is nowhere near what it was at the start of the season. It's just incredibly disappointing. And what's bizarre, not even bizarre, but like what's crazy is like the Dragons actually dominated the West Tigers. It was the last 10 minutes rush for points that made the game close. But in reality, like, it was mostly they started really well, the Tigers. Then there was 60 minutes of the Dragons completely controlling the game.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically as well, like the Taruva try that they scored in the first 20 minutes, so that was solely because the Dragons put Holangahu on at centre. And they took advantage of that in that moment there too. And I agree with you on Adam Dewey as well. Mate, with Jerome, like, I thought your 2 most dangerous players yesterday, Samuel Fainu and Sakura. And my God, he just came off the left foot every single time. Like, when you look at how many opportunities those guys actually had and what they created out of it, they did incredibly well on that left edge.
Yeah. It's I don't understand it. They're all at sea, to be honest. It's like you got Luai. His form has just completely dropped off a cliff, and there's talk about should he play, should he not play. Then you've got Dewey, who is clear. I think there is more to come in regards to the Dewey situation. It's strange. It is a strange. But the positive is, Sakura.
Yep. Done.
Outstanding. I know he missed that one tackle or whatever. Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, they targeted him as well, like they've done with a lot of Tigers outside backs this year. Like Finai was up in his face a few times, hit him pretty hard, but he didn't stop all day. Rewarded with 2 tries. I thought he was very, very good.
What's taken so long for Sakura to get a debut this year?
There's been all sorts of issues. He had a breach notice for being unfit. There's been all sorts of stuff. That said, he's the top try scorer in Cup, so I also can't really work out why it's taken this long. What I will say, when you compare it to other outside backs we've had in the it's a fascinating case study. One's been rushed in and just hammered all year. The other guy has got his tail up playing Cup all year and has come in full of confidence and got a few, been rewarded with a few tries. It's a small sample size. It's one game. But I do wonder whether is that the formula? Just let them go and, earn their stripes a little bit quicker, a little bit longer before you get them in there.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying in regards to Makasini at the start of the season.
Because Makasini went back, scored 4 tries in Cup on the weekend. So
he's buzzing. And so, like, that's my point at the start of the year when, people were saying it was a little bit harsh that I was saying Makasini should be put back in New South Wales Cup. Let him build confidence. Like, tell me a single NRL game where Makasini has looked confident, aside from maybe round 1 or round 2 or whenever he debuted.
The preseason game where he ran over Edwards. Like,
Yeah, but when it became evident that teams were targeting Makasini because he's the next big thing as an outside back, or at least looks like it, surely you go, you know what? This is not good for this guy's development. Get him back in New South Wales Cup. Get him rampaging edges. Get him scoring a bunch of tries. And on the flip, as you just said, Sakuru's been doing exactly that. He comes into first grade. He looks comfortable as anything.
Yeah.
Looks fine. Scores 2 tries. Yeah, 1 or 2 missed tackles. That's fine. A rookie's going to do that. Like, imagine if you were bringing in Makasini and him now instead of
But is Sakuru's not the one that there was whispers about his actual future there, was there?
Yep.
Yep,
They were,
that's
trying
him.
to, they were trying to get rid of him.
And they just got rid of Lau Lily.
So you're trying to get rid of him. He comes in and does that. And then you walk out on the team and you're allowed straight back in.
Well, Benji was asked about him in the presser. It was a good question by Steve Russo, I think, in the press conference. He said, look, he got given a breach notice, blah, blah, blah. It must be great to see him. And Benji goes, yep, you know what? Yes, he got sent a message and he's responded to it. He's gone and he's earned his stripes to get in the team and got rewarded with a great debut. So still got him for the time being. A little bit nervous. Hopefully we can keep him, but you never know. But his future looks very bright. Sakura, I thought he looked great on the weekend.
Respectfully, it just doesn't make sense though. So you're that harsh on this young fella. You wait till round 24. Sorry.
Yeah, round 24.
Round 24 to go, all right, you've earned the stripes back, but then 2 weeks ago,
Pretty controversial breach notice too, from what I've heard.
which you're being sarcastic.
No, I'm being 100% serious.
No,
Like,
they
from
didn't.
what I've heard, it was ridiculous what the breach notice was for.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is actually didn't do anything that wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I've heard the same thing.
Definitely not in the top 1 of late at the West Tigers.
I'll tell you
anyway.
this much. Absolutely should not. If it is what I think it is, absolutely is not a breach notice. at
No,
all.
not a chance.
And it may have been, sometimes people get in trouble for things that aren't that bad because they're trying to move things on sometimes. But anyway, it is what it is. And fuck, whatever.
The
I don't wanna
the other
get
guy, though,
negative.
quickly, that we've been quite critical of, or we've spoken about him being more involved, and he definitely was yesterday, is Jareen Buller. So against the Eels, he ran 15 times for 148 metres, but then yesterday he had 31 runs for 249 metres. So I thought that was one positive.
Which is great to see yesterday. But geez, just as a whole, Dream Buller, that's his 3rd try assist in the last 11 weeks.
Look, I like that he worked more, but yesterday he just doesn't. I know he's injured, but surely you put your hand up and say, give us the Rico then. He's got the contract. He's sorted. This year at least, he hasn't created enough. And I know some Tigers fans didn't like that when we said that 6-7 weeks ago. But unfortunately, I don't know. I still stand by that comment that at $900K a year or whatever it is around that figure, you've got to be delivering more than
Has
that.
the temperature changed on Buller with West Tigers fans at all, or are they still...
In what regard that he's
Like they still
needing a
feel
bit
he's
more from
playing
him?
well, or do you think they're
No, I think people are still pretty. I don't think I haven't seen any kind of overwhelming negativity around.
At least he's
Buller.
out there and trying. Yes, he needs a Rico, and I agree. Like, in an ideal world, you step away and take it. At least he's on the fucking field. Like, it's tough out there at the moment. And, yes, I agree. 3 try assists as a, what is he, $900K, $1 million fullback. Not a lot, but they're a struggling side, and he's out there and he's showing more effort. It's double the runs in 2 weeks.
If you wait till around 25, I can't give you too much credit when you've rated this. It's been a down year for Buller in my opinion.
Definitely, but he's
super
needed a
talented
Rico.
young player, and it's great that he worked harder in this game. There's no denying that, but I think that just need to find a bit more consistency in my opinion.
For sure. And I think hopefully he gets that Rico in the off season and he comes back and he can do it. I just think if I'm a Tigers fan, I'm looking at Buller trying his ass off despite being injured, and yes, he's been disappointing, but it just highlights to me do you guys think Dewey will be there next year?
I don't think he'll be next year. No.
Right.
Where do you think he'll be?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Do you think he'll be there next year?
I'm a bit worried, to be honest. I know there was a bit of kind of Kevin said he's stuck out each contract a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know. I'm always a little bit
So
nervous.
you're worried he's not going to be there?
Yeah.
So you want you in an ideal world he stays for you as a fan?
Well, I'd love him to, it's just such a shame that what happened the other couple of weeks ago happened. But
So
you need
despite
him
what
there.
happened, you're still, I want him there?
his best is good enough to be there.
I think they need him there because if he leaves and Luai's gone,
Oh, no, 100%. Yeah,
they
yeah.
need Dewey.
Yeah.
So unless there's, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to speak. I try not to get too negative about the Tigers because they've been through fucking hell and back.
Thank you.
But they're also
Few
a
thank
fucking
yous
shame.
today from you. I read the Tigers.
Yeah.
Okay, Dragons. Got to say, like, mate, this young forward pack, I know we're on repeat. Press repeat. This young forward pack's freaking amazing. If you want to hear us talk about Pacifica Tonga's incredible try saver, that's at the start of the show for our Liquorland's legendary moment. But just the rest of it, like Hamish Stewart. Like we spoke about it early in the show, you're looking at one, maybe three players in this forward pack that might make the Australian squad. The Couchman brothers and also Hamish Stewart. Now, maybe it's Toby Couchman, maybe it's Hamish Stewart, maybe it's just Hamish Stewart, I'm not sure. But the fact that that's a reasonable statement is insane.
I'll tell you what, boys, we might see some rugby league history in a few weeks. I'm tipping a Prime Minister's 13 back row of all Dragons. I
Okay.
reckon they'll be there.
And the Prime
They
Minister?
can fill the whole thing, I reckon.
Because they can still go to if they play PMs, they can still go play in the Australian
Correct.
squad, can't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Surely Albo gets a few bunnies in there.
Going to be a lot of Dragons in there, I reckon.
Yeah. Hamish Stewart on the edge there, he is just he gets through a mountain of work. He is silky ball playing when he needs to, silky line runner. This is a brilliant game. And I love the fact how much they controlled it. I think Atkinson at fullback, I think we spoke about this last year.
I wanted him at fullback.
Yeah, for a period. And he looked much better at fullback.
Yeah, without the match fitness or anything. And once again, as good as he looked at fullback, I mean, he doesn't even get a look in at fullback, obviously, next year. But I do think, I don't know.
Do you keep him as backup? Oh, it's too expensive to keep him as backup. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
But I hope Atkinson goes to another club. I'd like to see him have one more shot, personally.
Yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, Pacifica Tonga was outstanding. The Couchman brothers outstanding.
What about that Falcon to Ryan Cowsman?
Oh, wow.
beak.
Hall of Famer.
I wouldn't
Ate
wish
like
that
a
on Tim Williams. That was
Mate,
Probably silly.
my beak would have bounced that back down the ball.
Just a dent in the ball.
Intercept.
Broken steed.
get the
Charge
pump
down.
out.
Full of beak down. In regards to some other players that played really well, Ryan Couchman getting through a bunch of work. Toby Couchman, he ended up running for 181 metres, 80 post contact, 3 tackle breaks, 33 tackles, 63-minute stint. Just a frigging good performance from this young forward pack. And even and this is going to be a bit critical, but the try that they scored to get them back in the game, unfortunately, that was an older forward that did that. He completely clocked off Gula on the inside, and that's what opened the gap. And it's I've spoken about this probably 6-7 weeks ago, how these senior players, you're seeing the mistakes come from the senior players. It sucks that I'm saying I don't think Toby Couchman does that. I don't think Ryan Couchman clocks off like that. So hopefully, is Gula there next year as well? Hopefully this young pack kind of rubs off a little bit on these older boys in the
Especially
preseason.
for Gula. He only played 27 minutes yesterday.
And just complete in that. I'm forgetting which player.
He's gone next year.
He's gone next
They've
year?
confirmed. They
But
confirmed in June.
the play I'm talking about,
Yes.
where he just switched off, completely switched off on the inside. Try, and then the game's back on.
Yeah, I think it's one aspect. I can't wait until these young forwards, the work they're getting through at the moment. I can't wait until next year they're actually rewarded with points on the board.
Yeah, and the excitement of being in the finals.
Oh,
and-
they'll be so up and about. It'll be a great locker room to be a part of next year. I'll tell you the other one that similar to Ronald Volkman at the Parramatta Eels, playing great footy, but next year music's going to stop. He's probably not going to have a chair. Is King Tongia, who I think he's developing really nicely back into this season.
and we're seeing him under a different coach where he seems to be clicking under.
Yep.
I will say though, it's we've spoken about it a little bit before, but they've for all the positives that's happened, the Metcalf signing now, it's looking like a concern for the Dragons. And that sounds super harsh because he hasn't even arrived yet, but he cannot stay on the field. His body, and they have signed him on a big wicket. So does King Tongia? I know they've got Cody Nikarima. Is it him and King Tongia in the halves if Metcalf can't get on the field?
Yeah, having King Tongia there, I think the Metcalf thing less of a concern. Similar to what was sent from the Wires this year, where.
But it's the 900.
It's
That's
a big wicket.
Big
big
wicket,
wicket
huge.
for a guy that can't play each week.
But I think if it was ideal world, your big wicket guy doesn't have all these injury concerns. But if you got this young guy coming through, takes the heat off a little bit, I would say.
It's just a bit of a blemish on. They've done so well in recruitment, but recruiting a guy that's played 40 games over 8 years and paying that much for him, it probably, you look at it now and you say, and look, they were in a different spot then, so they were desperate. So I'm not going to be too harsh on the Dragons, but you look back on it and go, maybe that was a bit much for a guy that hasn't seen a season out at this stage.
Yeah, and it probably one is a sign of just where the Dragons were at that time, but also two, it's probably just a sign of the times as well with PNG.
Yeah.
Bears. Like if you want to get Luke Metcalf,
You got to do it.
you're probably got to pay
Yeah.
farm for it.
Look, I hope he gets there and he's sweet, because if he is going to be unbelievable behind this forward pack. Imagine, now obviously he's got the Warriors forward pack, which is the best in the comp, but like being a part of this young forward pack, that's exciting for a guy like Metcalf. That's
100%
super exciting.
I also like that they are giving Jacob Little 60 minutes now.
Yep.
Getting his body prepped for next season. Connor Watson will be there. I assume Connor Watson will come off the bench and Jacob Little will be the main guy. I also thought when he did get on the field, Damien Cook, he was only there for 20 minutes, but he looked dangerous when he got on.
You know who's breaking my heart? Is Sloan. He's breaking my heart because he finally has gotten it together and he's gone.
Yeah.
Fuck. I've fucking been waiting for this moment for so long.
Yeah.
So long, and it seems like Dean Young knows how to get the best out of him. His defense has been good. He's scoring a bunch of tries. Fuck. He'll be back, surely.
Once if he can get his 4 men of steals through customs, he'll come back.
Yes.
That's so. It's Devo. Like I'm Devo. I'm Devo. This guy. I've been waiting for this to come through, and then he does it in the season on the way out.
When he made that break down the sideline yesterday and he dropped it off the outside of his boot back in the middle, and there was 3 Dragons lining up depending which one it was going to bounce to. Like, just some of the touches he has, unbelievable.
Mate, 100%. 100%.
Do you reckon he's going to Bevan French it over there, do you?
I reckon he'll go damn close to Bevan Frenching it.
Mate, he is going to be.
I think the club he's signed for is, I think there's a bit of weird shit going on there at the moment.
Yeah, coach has been stood down, Ryan Carr.
And he's the one that signed all these. I think him, Damien Cook going to the same place.
Good old fashioned backflip.
Is that where Gula's going next year? Like, yeah, there's a 3 of them that have signed. Maybe a Fangai signed there as well.
Yep.
So yeah, he might not be gone.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see.
All right, let's face a bit of music brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet.
Let's do it. Round 25, Face the Music. We kick off on Thursday night. When the NRL put this in, they would have thought, here we go, blockbuster, top 4 clash. Not to be, but it is the Melbourne Storm 325 hosting the Penrith Panthers, $1.34, 8.5 points is the line on Thursday.
I will go Panthers. I'll go Panthers 13 plus.
$2.30.
Melbourne off a bye, last home game of the year. Farewelling players, 8.5 will be enough, I reckon. Melbourne with the start.
Okay.
Penrith 13 plus.
$2.30. Matty's going to go Panthers minus 8.5. I also will go Panthers minus 8.5. Raiders, Friday 6 p.m, $1.43. Host the Broncos, $2.85. 7.5 is the line.
Broncos with a 7.5 star.
That is the most deflated I've ever seen him. And I love it.
I'm going to take the Bronx 1-12.
$3.90.
I'm going to take the Broncos 13 plus.
$7. Matty will take the Raiders minus 7.5. I'll take the Raiders 13 plus at $2.45. Dolphins, $1.24. Host the Eels, $4.10. 13.5 is the line at Suncorp on Friday.
I'll go Dolphins 13. Dolphins. What's the start? Sorry, 13.5.
13.5, yeah.
Yeah, Dolphins minus 13.5.
Yep.
Give me Para 1-12.
Jeez, $4.90.
Give me Dolphins 1-12.
$3.35. I'll take the Dolphins minus 13.5 as well. On to Super Saturday. We've got the Newcastle Knights, $1.38. They host Manly, $3.04. 8.5 is the line.
Sorry, 2-6. Just lost it. What was it again?
Knights, $1.38. Manly, $3.04. 8.5 is the line.
I'll go Knights with the start.
To cover.
Yeah, to cover, sorry.
Manly with the start.
Yep.
Knights to cover.
Yep. Matty's going to go Knights to cover as well, the 8.5. I'll go Knights 13 plus, $2.25. Rabbitohs, $2.25, host the Warriors, $1.64. 3.5 is the line at a core on Saturday.
Warriors head-to-head.
$1.64, yep.
Warriors minus 3.5.
Yep.
I'm going to swallow that Warriors line, please.
Yep. Matty has gone with the Rabbitohs head-to-head, $2.25. I'll take the Warriors 13 plus, $3.10. Dragons, $2.68, host the Dogs, $1.47. 5.5 is the line.
Dogs head-to-head.
$1.47.
Where is this one? Is this a Wollongong job or a?
Let me grab the fixture. Is it Allianz? Huge.
Give me Dragons 1 to 12.
Dragons 1 to 12. Hang
Cash
on.
bet Dragons 13 plus, please.
Dragons 1 to 12, 360. Dragons 13 plus,
Yes, please.
$7. Matty has taken Dragons plus 5.5. I'm going to take Dragons head to head, $2.68. Titans 271 host the Sharks $1.47, 6.5 is the line on Sunday.
Sharks are dead.
271. $1.47.
Sharks 13 plus.
$2.55.
Gold Coast line.
Gold Coast with the 6.5. Matty has taken the Sharks 13 plus for $2.25 as well. I'll take the Sharks minus 6.5. Then we have the Roosters $1.14 host the West Tigers $5.80. 17.5 is the line.
Roosters 13 plus.
$1.52.
17 and a half. Is that the biggest this year?
No, I think we've had a 20 at some stage.
Actually, I'm just going to go Tigers plus 17.5. Yeah, I'll go Tigers plus 17.5.
Oh, okay.
I will take.
Actually, you know what? No, Roosters 13 plus. Fuck.
Roosters 13
Can't do
plus.
it, bro.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah, give me Tigers 13 plus.
$19.
Can I take the Roosters to win to 0 at 13?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, please.
Wow.
Matty has got the Roosters minus 17.5.
That's so fucking disrespectful.
I'll
bro.
take the Tigers 13 plus as well.
You just pitched it so bad, bro.
What do you mean?
You just said your team's going to get nilled.
I was
Yeah.
going to look at 51 plus, and I was like, I don't think so. I think
What's the 51 plus? How much is it?
it was way more than that. It was, where is it? 23 to 1.
And is in they'll win by 51 or they'll score more than 51 points?
No, win by more than 51.
That's Face the Music, round 25.
Fuck it, it looks
Go
like-
Tigers.
Okay, that's us done and dusted. We'll all go fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.